Chapter 3695. The first is here. These people think that this is normal. After all, the so-called battle results are mainly those resource treasures left by the three sacred realms. The three sacred realms dominated the divine realm for so long, and they have accumulated too many resources and treasures. 23% of resources, enough for a long time for large-scale forces to squander. There is only one lonely widow in Wujian. What do you need so many resources for? They don't know that these resources, Jian Wushuang himself, do not need them, but the people around him can use them. First, it is Qixing Xuanzong. Qixing Xuanzong experienced the original war and lost all the details, although he now has the opportunity to rise again. In addition to the need for a certain strong man, naturally also needs a lot of resources, so 30% of the resources that Jian Wushuang wants, of which 10% must be to the 7-star Xuanzong. With this resource, I can easily rise again with the strength of the remaining strong in Qixing Xuanzong. As for the other 20% of resources, Jian Wushuang was prepared for many practitioners in the chaotic world of ancient times. The eternal chaos world is still too far away from the pre-God world. Those practitioners definitely need a place to stay when they come to the pre-God world from the chaos world. Powers, these resources are used for the operation of that power. Although one person will have a 30% victory against Jian Wushuang, there are some people who are dissatisfied, but no one dares to speak more. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang reopened the remaining 70% of the battle results, including the Cut Heaven Alliance, Time and Space Temple, Tianzu Daojin, and the 4 major protoss contributed the most, each accounting for 10%, as for the remaining 30%. The 6-party Tianzong who participated in this battle, as well as more than 10 major forces, such as Zixumen and Taisheng Wangguang Valley, were evenly distributed. I don't know who is opposed to this distribution. Wu Jianshuang did not say who had different opinions, but directly said who opposed it. The meaning of this was very clear. That means that he has already decided on this allocation and will not change it. For all the forces present, it is fair to say that the distribution of Jian Wushuang is fair. Even if there are a few dissatisfied at this moment, they will never dare to speak against it. After all, in the face of so many people, this is the face of the swords. Who dares to do this? He Jian has no two-sided indifference. After overlooking for a long time, after seeing no one to retort, he said, since there is no objection, the resources and treasures of the 3 sacred areas obtained this time are allocated in this way. In addition to these resources and treasures, there is one more thing which is about the territories controlled by the 3 holy realms and the territory. The power leaders or the highest level of all parties present immediately rallied. For them, the biggest results of this war are actually not the resources and treasures left by the 3 sacred realms, but the territories and sites. The 3 great sacred realms have been dominated by the divine realm for too long, and the territory under their control has always been the best of the divine realm. Especially the old nests of the 3 holy realms are the void, where they are now. Here, it is the core of the triple sky. Although it has just encountered a fierce battle here, the war is only to destroy the various construction law formations in this territory, but it will not affect the practice environment in this territory too much. This is still the best territory in the early days of the world's cultivation environment. Such a territory will naturally have an extremely great effect on practitioners. Imagine if there were any forces or sects who could occupy this territory as their own nest. After that, your disciples' cultivation speed will definitely be faster than elsewhere, and the chance of a strong one will naturally be higher. Because of this, they care about these territories. With the expectation of everyone present, Jian Wushuang opened his mouth. I did NT bother about the territories and the territories before the 3 holy realms. But one thing is that the territory where the old nests of the three holy realms are located will be controlled by Qixing Xuanzong. I do and know if there are different opinions. Jian Wushuang, let everyone express their opinions this time. I cut the Sky Alliance, no opinion. The Cut Sky Alliance leader first spoke. The Lord of Time and Space, no opinion. The Lord of Time and Space also spoke. At the beginning, Qixing Xuanzong was destroyed in the hands of the three sacred realms. Now Qixing Xuanzong is about to rise again. The old nest occupying the three sacred realms is very reasonable, and my ancestor dojo has no opinion. All three major free alliances have stated their positions. The sectarians underneath each other saw this, and looked at each other, afraid to say a few words. Judging from the attitude of Jian Wushuang and the three major free alliances, it is clear that they have long decided to hand over the territory where the three holy realms and old nests are located to the seven-star Xuanzong, and let the seven-star Xuanzong rise again. That being the case, what opportunities do they have to force? Of course, even though the best territory was given to the seven-star Xuanzong, many of the territories that the remaining three sacred domains had previously mastered were still very attractive to them. You leave the remaining things to distribute by yourself. Sword Wushuang waved his hand, but has turned and left. My three major free alliances are not interested in territories. You should watch those things yourself. The three major free alliances the Lord of the Heavens set as a representative, and then left directly as for the four major protoss, because there is already a huge demon domain with very good cultivation conditions. Yes, other places are also afraid to be interested, nor have they been in conflict with this territory and the battlefield. On the contrary, the six-party Tianzong began to argue with the territories for these territories. Of course, no matter how they fight, this has nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. On top of the void, the conscious avatars of Jian Wushuang, the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of Time and Space, and the gods and the ancestors of Tianxian are standing there, looking down at the ground below. These three sacred realms are eventually destroyed. Jian Wushuang sighed. He clearly remembers that he was pushed to the extreme by the three holy realms several times. A few times, he almost died in the hands of the three holy realms. At the same time, from the last life, these three holy places were a mountain to him. This mountain has been blocking him, even trying to crush him, but he has survived time and time again, until now, finally crushed the mountain completely. Once upon a time, these three sacred realms were to me a giant and scared to see it, but now it's just a ruin. Jian Wushuang chuckled, but a complex look flashed in his eyes. Chapter 3696. Hey, the second is here. I saw that the three sacred realms were completely destroyed and still in their own hands. In addition to the pleasure of revenge, Jian Wushuang had a strange emotion in his heart. After all, it is the three sacred realms. What a deep connotation is, in the endless years, the divine realm has been supreme, but within 2 days, it is completely destroyed, and in the beginning divine realm disappears. Recalling the original seven-star Xuanzong, the strength is even stronger than the three sacred realms. Even the masters have three enough, but also died out in the First World War. Fortunately, there is a means left by Xian Yi, otherwise Qixing Xuanzong has been completely submerged in history for a long time, and it is impossible to have a chance to rise again. Stubborn as the three sacred realms, Qixing Xuanzong are all the same. What's more, like Ling Yunxing, who he joined in the Magic Smoke Valley before, it is a big force in the depths of the universe. The Ling Yunxing master is a supreme superpower, and he is a hegemon in the depths of the universe. But as a result, Ling Yunxing was finally destroyed in the end, and countless strong men died and fled. The whereabouts of the Ling Yun star is unknown. The times are changing, and no one, any sect of power, born in this world, can always guarantee his prosperity. What they can do is to continuously improve their strength as much as possible. Only with absolute strength can they truly keep themselves. And Jian Wushuang is far from this step. Although he is now invincible in the early world of God, if placed in the entire universe, he is still very weak. Although the three sacred realms have been destroyed in the beginning, the realm of the gods could not be completely calmed down, and there is still a force that must find a way to destroy it. Jian Wushuang suddenly said, "Tian Ho Xiaoyu, what you said should be the of which gods, right?" "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded. "Which god?" Compared to the strong and overbearing dominance of the three sacred realms, which gods have always been hidden in the secret. The sorceress of witchcraft has been trying to capture special lives and some higher-level bloodline powers. No one knows what the Wushan religion is, and no one knows where the old nest of the Wushan religion is. But there is one thing, that is, the Wushan religion has been active in the early years of the gods these years. Behind many things, there are more or less shadows of the Wushan religion. In addition, Jian Wushuang knows that the three holy realms and the Wushan religion once stood in the same camp. When the three holy realms set up the Tianlidi net to kill themselves on Palau Island, the Wushan religion also shot to help the three holy realms of. A long time ago, there was also a so-called prophet in the witch god religion. Relying on his own special means, he found his place directly and sent the ruler himself to kill him. But he failed in the end. For a mysterious force like witch god, Jian Wushuang is naturally impossible to forget. This time, he shot to destroy the three holy realms. He thought that the Wushan religion would also participate in it, and would help the three holy religions to resist his own camp. However, after this battle, he did not see any strong shadow. This battle, Wushan did not participate at all. Until the destruction of the three sacred realms is clean, there is no one in Wushanism. This makes Jian Wushuang very confused. This witch god religion is very unique. The Lord of Time and Space said, "According to what I have learned, witch god, the leader of witch god, is not a cultivator in my early world. He is a master from outside. Under normal circumstances, the masters from outside the world will be rejected by the will of the heavens and heavens, and their strength will be greatly suppressed, far more than I would have been born in this astral world. The Lord of God is much larger, but the suppression of the witch in the early world of God seems not so huge. I had played against him many years ago, and his ability to burst out is not much weaker than mine. Couldn't it be this witch god, but also from Demon Star, the strong one under Demon Star's master?" Cho Tianmeng said, "No, if he is a strong one from Devil Star, then I will not be surprised at the strength he can show." Xian Shinto said, "The key point is that people from the Star House on the side of Demon Star have heard that there is no such thing as a witch god in Demon Star. Besides, if this devil is really a Demon Star, then I will destroy the three majors before why did NT this, which shoot in the sanctuary. You know, in the previous battle, the three masters from Demon Star were all shot, and they were all beheaded by Tian Ho Xiaoyu. Even in the end, the Star Luo master appeared, but this the witch has not yet appeared, so it is certain that this witch is not a strong one. Perhaps, because of some special reasons, he reached an agreement with the Lord of the Demon Star, so that he could stay in the pre-God world, and his power was not greatly suppressed. In addition, the Devil's Star the Lord also allows him to do things secretly, such as the arrest of special lives. If this is the case, this which is a bit mysterious. Tianzu said, "Whatever the purpose of the Wushan religion in the early world of the gods, and whether or not that war has reached some agreement with the Lord of the Clouds, this Wushan religion has helped the three sanctuaries to deal with me 3 or 2 times. And these in the early days of the Protoss of the witch gods, in the early years, those wacky things this witch god should not exist." Jian Wushuang's voice was cold. "Cut the Lord of the Sky. time and space. Ancestors, bother you three to use your alliance's intelligence as much as possible and find ways to find the old nest of witch gods. Although the three sacred realms are now extinct, if this witch deity continues to exist and do all kinds of unseen things, I will still have trouble sleeping and eating. I must find out the witch deity and destroy it. I heard the words of Jian Wushuang, and the Lord of the Cut Heaven Alliance nodded. They are also aware of the potential threats of the witch god. If the sorceress continued to exist in the Tai Chi divine realm, it would be equivalent to a time bomb for the Tai Chi divine realm. Maybe it would suddenly explode. So it's better to find out and destroy it. Rest assured, we will immediately let people check, no matter how good this witch is hidden. As long as it is in the early world of God, then I can't escape the eyes of my three major freedom alliances. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Jian Wushuang still believes in the capabilities of the three major free alliances. Chapter 3697. The first is here. The three great sanctuaries were destroyed. This news, like a huge storm, swept the entire triple sky, and even the whole early divine realm, in just a few days. The whole divine world, countless forces, countless gates, including countless practitioners, were shaken by this news. There is no way. For many people, the news is too shocking. Three sacred realms. In the early deities, detachment was too long. He looks like three giants, always overlooking everything. The three lords of the Holy Realm are invincible in the hearts of almost everyone. He even rumored that the three lords of the Holy Realm were the spokespersons of the will of the heavenly world in the early days, and they represented the heavenly world of the early days of the realm. Wu Ku is like this. The three sacred realms with three invincible sacred masters will be completely destroyed. It is as if the heavens of the original divine world were completely reversed. It is too incredible. So when many people first heard the news, they scoffed and didn't believe it, until later, as the news spread widely. And even after the mirror image of the original war spread, the news was thoroughly confirmed. The three great sanctuaries are indeed overthrown. To a large extent, this result is due to the existence of a person. This person is Jian Tianhou. 100,000 years ago, he once killed the Lord of the Rule in the realm of the Saint, and then resisted the Lord of the Holy Realm at that time. Talent is truly frightening. In Tychus' early world, countless people were shocked by his talent. But horrified, terrified, shocked, talent cannot ultimately represent its true strength. In the early days of the gods, there were many amazing geniuses born in the world. These geniuses were shocking for a time, but in the end these geniuses were really able to embark on the peak of the road, but very few. Therefore, the existence of Jian Wushuang at that time was only remembered by many people, and then surprised by one or two, but most of the factions did not really take Jian Wushuang too seriously. But now, 100,000 years ago, the super genius that shocked everyone showed his incredible strength. In the battle that was destroyed by the three sacred realms, he killed the lords of the three sacred realms with his own power. At the same time, it also beheaded the three master-level strong helpers invited by the three holy realms. This horrible strength really scares everyone. The Lord of the Holy Realm, including the Lord, was almost invincible in the early days of the divine realm. This has long been recognized. Wu Kejian's sword defeated the Lord of the Holy Realm and the Lord, and also killed the Lord of the three holy realms in one breath, plus three lords. What is this concept? This shows that Jian Wushuang's combat power in the early world of God was far more than the Lord of the Holy Land, and even far more than the General Lord. I can be sure that his combat power in the early world of the gods is much better than the leaders of the three major free alliances, and they are better than the leader of the Celestial Alliance, the Lord of Time and Space, and the Ancestor of Heaven. Therefore, after this war, Jian Wushuang's strength was recognized by countless practitioners, saying that he was the first person in the early god world. This incident was transmitted to the Celestial Alliance, the Temple of Time and Space, and the Celestial Dojo as quickly as possible. However, no matter whether it was the Celestial Alliance, the Lord of Space-Time, or the Celestial Ancestral, they did not come forward to refute, but chose the default. I was very normal. First of all, the three had excellent relations with Jian Wushuang. They all stood in the same camp. Secondly, if it is only in the Taichu Divine realm, Jian Wushuang's combat power is indeed much stronger than the three of them, because they will be greatly restricted in the Taichu Divine realm, but Jian Wushuang is not. As for the battlefield of the universe, Jian Wushuang's combat power is also a high-level level. Among them, I am afraid that only the leader who cut the sky may be able to fight. In this case, it is true that Jian Wushuang is the first person in the early world of God. The tacit consent of the three masters also fully satisfies the title of Jian Wushuang, the first person in the beginning. Quickly, Jian Tianhao's name resounded through the whole early world, and this time, his fame followed the status of the divine realm in the early days, and he completely surpassed those ancient masters. Wu Taika's first person, Jian Tianhao, was fully implemented. The vast universe is boundless, in a certain distance from the early divine realm. Although it is still on the edge of the universe, it is no longer some barren place in the universe. In this territory, there are hundreds of astral planes in existence, and there are as many as 2 astral planes. The star field where the world was in the beginning was not a second-level star. Among the 6 second-order boundary stars, there is a boundary star surrounded by a large amount of black mist, as if the magic cloud is constantly rolling. This astral world is the magic cloud star. In front of the towering dark purple hall, a man over 3 meters tall with messy hair and a dirty body was lying there halfway, and behind him was a snow-white demon wolf howling. This man and his beast depend on each other. A relaxed and cozy look. I don't know, when is the head on this day? The burly man murmured, turned out his hand, and took out a jug, took a big sip when he looked up, but he hadn't had time to put down the jug. Humph! A cold humming blasted loudly in this world. There was a hint of anger in the cold hum. I heard the cold hum. The burly man was frightened. The jug in his hand almost came out, and he and the demon wolf both stood up immediately. Tell King Binglan, and say that this seat will give him a maximum of 30,000 years. If he fails to meet the requirements of this seat within 30,000 years, this seat will immediately set foot on his Iceland. The domineering voice sounded in this world. Observe. The burly man immediately bowed for his life. Suddenly, after the voice faded away, the burly man and the demon wolf just sighed softly. What's going on? Didn't Lord Star give 100,000 years to King Binglan before? Why did you give it only 30,000 years? As far as I know, King Binglan has been following King Star's asked to act, did not disobey the Lord's order? The burly man muttered, Who knows? Anyway, since the Lord has given the order, then King Binglan must obey it honestly. That demon wolf spoke the human voice. Hey, 30,000 years to meet such a requirement. King Binglan is miserable this time, and I don't know if it is good. Why is the Lord so angry? The burly man smiled lightly. Chapter 3698. Hey, the second is here. I heard that Lord Star has recently sent 3 masters to accomplish an extremely important thing. Is it possible that nothing has changed in this matter? The burly man said again, Control him. It has nothing to do with us anyway. The demon wolf said, That's right. The burly man smiled and soon went to convey the order. At the deepest part of the deep purple towering hall, an endless dark atmosphere filled the entire hall. Amidst the dark fog in the center of the hall, a pair of cold eyes opened sharply. Jiantianho, it's a bit interesting. Wait, it won't be long before this seat will find you in person. Ha! The insane laughter sounded, and the laughter lasted for a long time in the temple. In the early days of Taizhou, the old nests before the three holy realms are now in ruins. But this ruin can be rebuilt. Now the strong man of Qixing Xuanzong, and started to rebuild. As for the many sectarian forces that participated in this battle at the beginning, after dividing the results of each other, they left one by one. The powerful armies of the four major protoss have also returned to the demon realm. Shower, who is now recognized as the power of the four protoss, has temporarily remained. The original is because of Emperor 13. On a peaceful lake, a wooden boat drifted in the wind. On the wooden boat, a man and a woman nestled together, whispering to each other, and a faint laughter came from time to time. When Jian Wushuang came to the surrounding void, he saw the scene below, but his face became strange. The two people on the wooden boat below were naturally Emperor Shirsan and Shower. The two of them were in love with each other. At the beginning of the battle, Shower for Emperor 13, even at the expense of the nine-tailed tribe. At last, due to the destruction of the seven-star Xuanzong, after the entire seven-star god realm was banned, Emperor 13 remained in the seal. In time, Shower started the ninth reincarnation in order to cultivate the nine-life charm. Until now, countless years have passed, and the two finally meet again. Although so many years have passed, their affection has not changed at all. What makes the sword unparalleled is the look of Emperor 13 at the moment. In his impression, Emperor 13 was an extremely arrogant person. He began to deal with Emperor 13 in the last life, and speaking for many years, he has always seen Emperor 13 with a cold face, no matter who he is facing, whether he is his own person or the enemy. Fortunately, his expression never changed. But now this Emperor 13 is with Shower. There is still a little indifference, and the smile that emerges on his face is so natural. I did not expect this Emperor 13. There is such a side. Wu Jianshou smiled, and immediately swept down, and soon appeared in front of Emperor 13 and Shower. Jian Wushuang, you are here. Seeing Jian Wushuang coming, Emperor 13's smile converged on his face, and once again turned into a Bingshan. Master Tianho. Shower salutes respectfully, although Jian Wushuang was once an ally with her, and was not as good as her for a long time. Even long ago, Jian Wushuang was just a little guy in front of her, but now, Jian Wushuang has already been recognized as the first in the pre-God world. The strong, even the Lord and Holy Lord, can easily be killed. Such a super strong. Shower also had to bring a trace of awe. Emperor 13, didn't I disturb you? Jian Wushuang played with the taste. No. Emperor 13 shook his head. The things in the seven-star Xuanzong are already being dealt with by the Xianyan Palace Master. I shouldn't need to show up. You come to me now. Is that for you? Emperor 13 has faintly guessed the origin of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, You also know that in the early days of the divine realm, even in the surrounding star field, you can compare with me in understanding of Kendo. It is estimated that it is only you, and when was yours Kendo? Once made me look up, and now it's so hard to catch up with you. Naturally, I want to compete with you. Before, in the chaotic world of ancient times, you and I could not fully exert our sword power, but now in the early world of God, there is nothing to worry about. Emperor 13, how long does it take for your strength to recover to its peak? Jian Wushuang asked him. He wants to fight against Emperor 13. Of course, Jian Wushuang just wanted to compete and teach. As for strength, he was much better than Emperor 13. If the two were duel against each other, it would definitely be unfair to Emperor 13. However, He also knew that Emperor 13 had been in the chaotic world of ancient times, and he had been sleeping for a long time. He was completely in the weakest state. Although he has now returned to the early world of God, it will take time to recover to the peak. About 30 years. Emperor 13. Is it 30 years? Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. That being the case, I will come to you in 30 years. I'm waiting. Emperor nodded at 13. Farewell. Wu Jianshou smiled, and then left directly. After Jian, Wu Shuang left. 13. Do you really have to fight against Jian Tianhou? Shower immediately looked over. Of course, when I battled with him in the chaotic world of ancient times, this battle was already agreed upon, and I couldn't avoid it. Emperor 13 said, as far as strength is concerned, even this sword master can easily be beheaded and killed by the Lord of the Sacred Realm. Shower frowned. In terms of strength, I am definitely inferior to him, but I compare with him only kendo and swordplay. At this point, I am confident and will not lose to him. Emperor Shirshir laughed. In other words, are you sure you can win him in that battle? Shower was surprised. That's not true. When he confronted the three masters before, I saw that his understanding of kendo was not much lower than mine, and he also created a 7th order advanced tertiary school, although it was only a kind. But that sword is amazing. It can be said that there is not much difference between him and him in terms of understanding of kendo and swordplay, but one thing is that the swordplay he created is not as comprehensive as mine. So when the time comes really after fighting, my chance of winning should be 70%, and he is 30%. Emperor 13 was flat. He said this. It seemed a bit loud. In fact, anyone who is familiar with Emperor 13 knows that he is an extremely arrogant person and never exaggerates. Since he said that his odds are 70%, those who are familiar with him know that his odds are more than 70%, and may even reach 80% or even 90%. Emperor Sun 13, although it has existed many years ago, and because he has been sleeping for many years, he has not made much progress in kendo, but his understanding of kendo has always been unparalleled. Although Jian Wushuang is now qualified to rival him in kendo, it is still unknown whether he can really surpass him. Chapter 30, 699. Hey, the second is here. In the beginning of the Tai Kingdom, there was a vast territory. Here, it is the edge of the endless territory. From here onward, it is the core of the divine realm in the early days, where the triple heaven is. At this moment, Jian Wushuang came here, and they were still with everyone in the chaotic world of eternity. Here it is. Jian Wu's eyes were dull, overlooking the ground below. This territory is still within the bounds of endless territory. Of course, the cultivation environment here is not as good as Miatian, but the level of practitioners here is far from being comparable to Miatian. Here, the saint can become a hegemon. God deity, in one sacred realm, also exists at the top. In such a place, Jian Wushuang will naturally not take a closer look now, but for everyone in the chaotic world of ancient times, it is already large enough. You must know that practitioners in the chaotic world of ancient times, because of the limitation of the heavens and the earth, they are the strongest only at the emperor level, that is, the state of chaos. The chaos state belongs to the ants in the endless territory. They still have a long way to go. If Jian Wushuang directly placed them in the triple sky, it would be possible because of his existence, but for practitioners in the chaotic world of eternity, it lacks many experience effects. What Wu Jianshuang wants now is that these practitioners of the chaotic world of eternity can have a place to stay after coming out of the chaotic world of eternity, and then slowly grow on their own abilities and step on the peak step by step. Therefore, it is undoubtedly the best choice to place practitioners in the chaos world of endless chaos. And here is the edge of the endless territory itself, close to the triple sky. Even if the practitioners of chaos world of eternity grow up in the future, it is also convenient to go to the triple stage, heaven and earth. With the existence of the sword unparalleled, everyone in the chaotic world of ancient times soon occupied a sacred realm in this territory. This sacred realm was originally called Luotian's sacred realm, but after it was occupied by the practitioners of the chaotic world of ancient times, it was changed to Eternal Holy World. There is no doubt that Jian Wushuang is the leader of the ancient sanctuary, and besides Jian Wushuang, the strongest white emperor is equivalent to the vice leader. When Jian Wushuang was absent, many matters of this ancient sanctuary were all made by Emperor decides. Eternal Holy Realm can be said to have just begun to be established, and everything is in vain. Fortunately, there is Jian Wushuang, the first strongest in the early years, and it is possible to omit many of the first steps. Even in terms of resources, Jian Wushuang directly left 20% of the resources that were divided up in the three sacred realms and stayed in the Eternal Holy Realm. This resource is too huge, let alone an elder holy that just came out of the chaotic world of eternal in the world. It is very easy to create a force that is comparable to the 8-party Tianzong and even the 4 major protoss. Wu Jianwushuang gave these resources to Baida's control, but there are certain restrictions. After all, although there are many resources, considering that the chaotic world of ancient times will continue to be a strong power to come to the early gods, these resources should not be too wasteful. In addition, Jian Wushuang himself also left a lot of means in the ancient holy realm. For example, he personally set up a heavy law circle for the ancient holy realm. Because he didn't study too much about the method, he just laid it out, but to know his current strength, it's a high-level dominator, even if it is just a randomly arranged method. In this early world of God, however, no one was afraid of breaking it. In addition, Jian Wushuang also left a lot of trenches to the ancient holy realm. These trenches were obtained by Jian Wushuang from the powerful men who killed them in recent years, especially the 3 lords of the holy realm, and the trenches of the ruler left by the 3 masters, and even the ruler's trenches. There are dozens of them. He just took out a few of them and put them in the ancient holy realm to ensure the security of the ancient holy realm. After leaving the means for the ancient holy realm, Jian Wushuang directly left the chaotic world of the ancient holy realm in the ancient holy realm and opened several different channels in the ancient holy realm. These several channels can lead to the early. There are several extremely important places in the world. Of course, there are also space passages directly leading to the triple sky. In short, Jian Wushuang has left everything necessary for a large sectarian gate. As for the eternal holy realm, he cannot know which step he can take in the future with these things. These can only rely on the elders of the chaotic world of eternity to fight for themselves. As for him, even now he can shelter the eternal holy realm for a while, but if the crisis of the eternal divine realm is completely lifted in the future, he will retake the eternal divine realm, and the deity must go to the depths of the ever more vast and chaotic world of eternity. At first, he only paid attention to the divine realm at the beginning, not to mention the ancient holy realm. After Sun had done everything, Jian Wushuang explained Baidi a few words, and then he returned to the chaotic world of ancient times. He has now received most of his relatives and friends in the early world of the gods, and now, the chaotic world of eternity, he is not much nostalgia. He returned this time with only one purpose, to hide under the ancient battlefield, the last chance his master left for him. Tianjin Tianbei. But he heard the mysterious Shinto saying that when the town steel was born, there were more than 10 masters who participated in the competition alone, and even led to the fall of the master. His master, when he did NT get Zenshinbai, his strength was generally at the elementary level. He could get Zenshinbai. After thoroughly refining Zenshinbai, his combat power was even close to the top master. I wonder how amazing this monument is in this town. After knowing this, Jian Wushuang also had a longing for this town monument. However, he also knows that treasures like Zhenshinbai are by no means easy to refining in a short time. So after he came to the chaotic world of ancient times, he didn't pay attention to this town. Until now, he has settled the chaotic world of eternity, and the three sacred realms have been completely destroyed. At present, in the early world of the gods, except for the potential witch gods, the people of Demon Star have no idea when. He would have nothing else to do except to come back again. At this time, he returned to the chaotic world of ancient times and came to the town of Tianbei. The gray stone monument, nearly 10,000 feet high, stands so lonely in front of the sword without double sides. I saw Xintian Monument again, but Jian Wushuang was still full of shock, even more shocking than seeing this town monument for the first time under the guidance of Emperor 13. When he first saw Xintianbei, he was very weak, and he wasn't at the peak in the chaotic world of ancient times. At that time, he couldn't see the town Tianbei was real and normal. But now he is already at the top of the divine realm in the early days. But the town monument still gives him a very mysterious and invisible feeling. This is a bit strange. No surprise, tomorrow is the third. Chapter 3700. The first is here. In the beginning, the division only had the primary dominance, but since mastering this town monument, it has been able to jump to almost the top level. Such a treasure is naturally no small matter, but I do know how strange this town monument is. Place. With a hint of anticipation, Jian Wushuang's consciousness immediately covered the gray stone monument, which was nearly 10 feet high. Consciousness was integrated into Xintian Monument, and almost instantly Jian Wushuang felt the mysterious patterns hidden in Xintian Monument. Jian Wushuang can only sense these secret lines, except that he cannot sense the existence of anything. These secret lines are so mysterious. Jian Wushuang asked himself that he is not weak now. In the early days, the world was definitely the best, but at this moment he saw the secret lines in the town's monument, and for a while he didn't know why. But Jian Wushuang understands that these secret lines are probably the key to controlling this town's sky monument. And after Jian Wushuang's careful investigation, they played, and the secret patterns hidden in Xintianbei were roughly divided into 3 triple secret lines. Each has a great relationship with the town's Tianbei. Unsurprisingly, this triple secret pattern should be the way to control this town's monument. The triple secret pattern, as long as I understand the first, should be able to use this town monument normally. Jian Wushuang murmured. He already knew the way to control the sky monument. However, the way is to understand, but this process is never so easy. After all, these secret lines hidden in the Xintian Monument are indeed too deep and unpredictable. Jian Wushuang has observed it for a long time, but he has no clue. Master Zunzi is a wizard, but it took a long time to get the town monument once he got the town monument. That is to say, it took a long time for the master to the first secret pattern in this town's monument is mastered by Wutua. Master, it takes so long. I must master this first secret line. It must be a long time. Not in a hurry. I'll take it slowly. Wu Jianshou smiled, lightly. Even if he sat down in front of the town monument, closed his eyes, and began to fully understand the secret patterns in the town monument. Time passed, and 10 days passed. For the past 10 days, Jian Wushuang has been in a state of ignorance because he has been invisible to those secret lines, and only 10 days later, he barely saw something from these secret lines. The law of the universe. In this secret line, there are laws of the universe. Wu Jianshuang opened his eyes with a hint of shock in his eyes. The supreme rule of the universe, under normal circumstances, even the master is not qualified to participate in enlightenment, and only the legendary supreme power can be qualified to contact. But it's just contact, but it is still very difficult to understand. Sword Wushuang, now just a ruler, may reasonably be exposed to the laws of the universe, but because he completely refined the chaotic world of ancient times, the laws of the universe came down in person, and the laws of the universe covered him at that time. The body gives him the opportunity to experience the laws of the universe up close. That opportunity for practitioners is simply a fortune. Although he did not get substantial benefits from the close contact with the laws of the universe, there were too many intangible benefits. Just like now, under normal circumstances, he can't feel the existence of the laws of the universe from these secret lines, but because he has been in close contact with the laws of the universe before, so after 10 days of enlightenment he can feel it. No wonder these secret lines are so difficult to comprehend. It turned out that these secret lines were derived from the laws of the universe. Jian Wushuang sighed lightly. The law of the universe is too transcendent, and he is not able to comprehend it at all. Even though Jian Wushuang now encounters not the pure cosmic laws, but the secret lines formed by the cosmic laws after its evolution, the difficulty of understanding is much lower than the direct understanding of the laws of the universe. In terms of difficulty, it is still too big. Fortunately, I have experienced it from a close distance and have been exposed to the laws of the universe. This has at least given me the possibility of enlightenment. If there was no such encounter, this town monument would be in front of me. Sword Wushuangdo. He knows that if he wants to understand the secret lines in this town's monument, he must first be able to feel the existence of the law of the universe inside. Jian Wushuang was able to comprehend because of the relationship of the last opportunity. So if he did not have that opportunity, he would only have to stare. Strange, when Master received Jintian Bei, he was only the master of the rules. He was also ineligible to touch the laws of the universe, but he still mastered Jintian Bei in the end. The secret lines derived from the laws of the universe. For comprehension, Jian Wushuang wondered. You must know that his master did not have the same opportunity as him, but no law of the universe came, and he gave it to him personally. But Xuani finally mastered the Jintian monument. If this is the case, Xuani must have also had other opportunities, and he must have come into close contact with the laws of the universe by chance. Knowing the truth, then, I just need to take the time to slowly understand. Wu Jianshou took a deep breath. He knew that it would be extremely difficult to fully comprehend these secret patterns of Jintian Bei, even if it was only the first one. But there was no way in order to master Jintian monument spend a lot of time slowly learning. Even this process will be very long. But the good news is that after all, these secret lines are derived from the laws of the universe. Jian Wushuang can also get a lot of benefits in the process of enlightenment, in the process improving your understanding of Kendo, as well as the use of various rules and understanding are of great help. This kind of help is definitely better than using some special resources to cultivate yourself. Under this ancient battlefield, before the town monument, Jian Wushuang was completely immersed in the enlightenment of the secret pattern. Time passes quickly. In a blink of an eye, 30 years passed. In these 30 years, Jian Wushuang has been immersed in the realization of the secret pattern, and there is no moment to stop. Even so, his current understanding of the first secret line is still poor, and it can be said that there is no understanding at all. At most, he has only a little understanding and familiarity with this heavy secret line. He knows that he has a long way to go to fully grasp this first secret line. But the 30-year period has expired. He has to stop first and complete the agreement of Emperor 13. Chapter 3701. Hey, the second is here. The former nest of the three major sanctuaries is now the headquarters of Qixing Xuanzong. Although the territory has been ruined because of the previous war, but after 30 years of reconstruction, the atmosphere of the war has gradually disappeared, and the former prosperity and strength have been restored here again. Xuanzong Xingzong, once recognized as the first overlord in the early world of the divine realm, even the three sacred realms can only be counted on. At the same time, he has three main dominating combat powers and 7 stars standing at the top of the ruler. How many are powerful? How brilliant! Even if a lot of powerful people die, but many top powerful people still remain. Based on these remaining strong men, the headquarters is in the territory where the best conditions for cultivation are now in the early world of God. With the full support of the Xingong and Jian Wushuang, it is not impossible for Qixing Xuanzong to restore the glory of the past. Like the present, although it has only been 30 years, Qixing Xuanzong has a new status in the early world of the gods. Today, in the 7-star Emperor Xuanzong, everyone is watching. Many of the top powerhouses of Qixing Xuanzong are gathered here. For 30 years, most of them have been restored, and now they are full of combat power. In addition to the people of the 7 stars Xuanzong, the ancestors of the Celestial Alliance, and His Majesty's 3 palace lords, the Lord of Time and Space, and the Deputy Palace Lord by Xing Bat Song, and others as well as the ancestors of the ancestors, there were also many strong men present. They all came because of one thing, which is naturally the sword fight between Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13. Emperor 13 was once a legend of kendo in the early days of the Kingdom of God. The strength of kendo was amazing even for its master, and sword unparalleled. It is the myth of the early world of the gods today. Kendo is also extremely powerful. The 2 men's kendo confrontation is naturally attractive to practitioners of various forces. On a calm lake, Emperor Zizing was carrying this magic sword and stood there calmly. He stepped on the lake, but there was no ripple at his feet. I can see that now. He is also extremely calm inside, without any unusual emotions because of the coming war. As for sword unparalleled, at this moment has also come slowly. His steps are deep, step by step through the void, and the void is rippled with his steps and spread out. After a short while, he appeared in front of Emperor 13. "You are here." Emperor 13 looked up, staring directly at Jian Wushuang. "Sorry to keep you waiting." Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. The 2 of them briefly greeted each other and just greeted their old friends. In fact, the 2 of them had a certain friendship, saying that they are old friends. "Your condition has fully recovered to its peak?" Jian Wushuang asked. "Almost. Even if there are some discrepancies, it will not affect the battle." Emperor Xi's voice is still indifferent. "Do you start directly?" "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded and immediately said, "You and I are fighting this time just to compete with kendo and swordsmanship, so you and I only use the power of the Lord of the General Rules." "No problem," Emperor 13 said, "not to mention the power of divine power. 10 of them tied together are not opponents of sword unparalleled. Now they both control and use only the power of the Lord of the General Rules, which undoubtedly makes the battle between the 2 fair." Wu Jianshou smiled lightly, turned his hand, and an Excalibur appeared in his hand. This sword, called the Blood Peak Divine Sword, was made by my teacher Zun Yi personally for me. Although it is not a treasure of the universe, it is extremely powerful and extremely sharp. It also has the ability to suppress. Jian Wushuang looked at the divine sword in his hand and said, "Yo-yo." For the sake of fairness, of course, the sword Wushuang will not take out the Huangquan Excalibur, the strongest treasure. Even without planning to use the universe treasure, he will fight with the Blood Peak sword. After all, Xiefeng's sword has the longest time with him, the deepest feelings, and he is the most familiar. With the Xiefeng sword, Jian Wushuang can perfectly exert his kendo and sword skills. Emperor 13 knew the purpose of the sword and immediately turned over and took out a blue magic sword. This sword, named Zhan Yue, had been with me for a long time. It was also not a cosmic treasure, but mighty. Nothing is weaker than the blood peak sword Excalibur in your hand. Very good. Wu Jian smiled. The two eyes looked at each other. The next moment, two silhouettes moved at the same time. It has started. This battle is finally here. One is the legend of Kendo. The other is a new rise, but it is already invincible to the myth of the early gods. The two men's Kendo confrontation. Who is strong and who is weak? It's hard to say who is strong and who is weak. After all, their understanding of Kendo has gone beyond the scope of the early gods and reached a whole new level, but it is certain that this battle will be extremely exciting. Many powerful men watching the battle around stared at this battle with anticipation. Their eyes are also attentively looking at the void ahead for fear of missing the details of this battle. Under the gaze of countless strong men, Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13 finally confronted each other. Howl. Wow. 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 I saw countless sword lights and immediately burst out. Suddenly, the place where the two confronted each other turned into a sea of Kendo. In this Kendo ocean, Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13's body flickered one after another, as if they were two ghosts. Every flash will be accompanied by a lot of Jianguang at the same time. These sword lights were unveiled by the two at the moment when their bodies flickered, and it was such a flashing moment they have already fought sword art no less than dozens of times. This will cause a large amount of Jianguang to follow each flash. So fast, it's only a moment so many sword lights are on display. It's too fast. The swordsmanship of these two people is too fast. The people who watched the battle around him produced a lot of amazing sounds in the first place. Even the three powerful men who dominated the Alliance of Heaven, the Lord of Time and Space, and Xianyan could not help but admire the sight of the scene in front of them. Neither of them has the first time to perform a knack or any sword skill. They are pure swords. They are fighting for speed. It's not that simple. The Lord of the Heavens shook his head. It seems to be a simple speed competition, but in fact, the sword art of the two of them is carrying the Kendo universe origin, and the Kendo universe origin greatly increases their sword speed, therefore. In this speed competition, they are actually competing on both sides who have a higher understanding of the origin of Kendo universe. Chapter 37:02. The first is here. That's right, if there is no Kendo universe origin integrated into it. It is impossible to erupt such a terrible speed instantly with the power of the Lord, who only uses the general rules at this moment. Xianyan also nodded. The two of them, this is just the beginning, and now it is only a basic temptation. But even so, this scene is still shocking enough. The Master of Space and Time laughed. These dominators have strong strength, high vision, and naturally can see a lot of things. They all know that Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13 are now just tentative, and they have not yet moved. Even then, the frantic flickering figure and the sky sword that burst out from that moment still shocked the people watching. Both men obviously only used the power of the Lord of the General Rules. After the origin of Kendo universe, the terrible swordsmanship can be performed, and the Lord of the extraordinary rules can still match. The crickets were filled with dozens of clashes, and the figures of Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13 were finally separated. Jian Wushuang, it seems that I despise you. I thought you had just reached the 4th level of Kendo, and you should not have a deep understanding of the origin of Kendo universe, but you barely felt a little bit, but you did not expect that you would know the origin of Kendo universe. It's already a certain feeling, and it's not even under me at all. Emperor 13 stood there. And in the cold look, there was a rare excitement. This excitement is only possible when you meet a real opponent. You are the same. It is indeed the first transcendent figure in the early world of the gods to set foot on the fourth level and master the origin of Kendo universe. Your understanding of the origin of Kendo universe had already been like this when the 7 stars Xuanzong destroyed the war. Come on, if it weren't for the later years, you were all asleep. With your Kendo talent, now you have a sense of the origin of the Kendo universe. I am afraid that it has already reached a brand new level that can only make me look up. Jian Wushuang also praised Road. At the beginning of the tentative confrontation between the two, they both explored each other's understanding of the origin of Kendo universe. Obviously, the two have similar levels of understanding of the origin of Kendo universe. Because of this, in the tentative confrontation just now, the two talents will compete with each other, and there is no difference in the speed of swordplay. But in fact, only Jian Wushuang knows that he is now able to compete with Emperor 13, mainly because he has been enlightening the secret lines in the Town S monument in the past 30 years. On the way, he was extremely helpful to his Kendo, deepening his understanding of the origin of Kendo universe. If Sun Ku hadn't made progress in these 30 years, if he looked at the peak of Emperor 13 30 years ago, if he only competed with Kendo, then he would definitely be worse than Emperor 13 in the perception of the origin of Kendo universe. Jian Wushuang, I already know your level of understanding of the origin of Kendo universe, and what I want to know next is your accomplishment in swordplay. Emperor 13. I'm also looking forward to it. Jian Wushuang smiled. So, then I will have a sword. Emperor 13 looked indifferent, and the sword in his hand suddenly burst into a bright light at this moment. This light is like a huge sun, vast and magnificent, and countless powerful swords, all condensed in this sun. Emperor 13 had a sword. His body is not moving. He just points the sword in his hand, pointing away in the direction where the sword is unparalleled. In a moment, the huge sword-meaning sun swept out, and when it appeared in the void, where Jian Wushuang was, it burst directly. Buzz. Hum. 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 Countless innocents. The cold sword image formed a huge sword-like ocean in an instant. This sword is full of oceans, and for a while, madly pressed in all directions towards that sword. He is like the same mighty Kendo area. Within this sea of swordsmanship, Emperor 13 is like the master of Kendo. The two of them are finally taking it seriously. Look at it carefully. The Lord of Space and Time also showed expectations. Jian Wushuang, who is completely covered in the field of Kendo, looked at the surrounding scenes, but his expression was a movement. This trick is familiar. He knows this trick. That was the last life, the crisis encountered in the chaotic world of eternity. When he faced the Blood Emperor from the Blood Tribe, the Emperor 13 came forward to fight the Blood Emperor. Trick. However, because it was in the chaotic world of ancient times and was restricted by heaven, Emperor 13 had only half a step of magic power. The power of this move was probably less than 1/billionth. Until now, Emperor Xi's strength has returned to its peak, and without any restrictions, the true power of this sword has been fully revealed in his hands. That sword-like ocean that is wanting to hit, the waves of sword-like impact coming towards the sword, unparalleled like the tide, even if it is the sword unparalleled, cannot help but marvel. Is it just the impact of Jinny Ocean? Jian Wushuang frowned. No, it shouldn't be that simple. Although the impact of Jianyi's sword in front of him is terrible, it will also have a great impact on his strength. But judging from the power of the sword-like ocean, this sword is not so simple. But the fact is true. Sword is unparalleled. Pick me a sword. Emperor sword. Emperor Zizing glanced at Jian Wushuang. The sword in his hand was cut out straight. A seemingly ordinary sword, which can be cut out instantly, immediately a bright sword light swept out. This sword is bright enough to cause damage to the eyes of ordinary practitioners, and the extremely dazzling light instantly makes it the focus of heaven and earth. Everyone's eyes seem to have only this sword left. Do you master the level? Jian Wushuang looked calm. He saw the extraordinariness of the sword, but he was not afraid, only to see his body flicker, and a violent force was released instantly. Wushuang sword code. Jian Sun Cold Jianguang, with the endless violent meaning, suddenly cut off. In the blink of an eye, he collided with the dazzling Jianguang directly. Both of them are masters of peerless level, and the power they use at the moment is exactly the same. And even the two have similar feelings about the origin of Kendo universe. Under this sword, the two sword lights disappeared at the same time. Emperor 13, your sword skills, is it only to such a degree? Jian Wushuang looked at Emperor 13. Emperor Shizhao only glanced at Jian Wushuang slightly and did not speak, but the Excalibur in his hand was cut out again. Chapter 3703. Hey, the second is here. Emperor 13 shot again, but this time, wow, 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 wow. The dazzling Jianguang whistled out. Each Jianguang is so dazzling and so eye-catching. With each sword, mighty power is so arrogant. From the moment Emperor 13 was cast out by Sun Ku, there were dozens of such sword lights. What? Jian Wushuang was startled. The people who watched the battle around him were shocked to see the swords that were cut out from the hands of Emperor 13. How could this be? Those swordsmanships are so powerful. I feel that any sword is a masterpiece of mastery. All of a sudden, so many masters of science are on display. Everyone is shocked. You have to know that the mastery level of peerlessness is extremely powerful. It is not easy to display this level of peerless skills. Even though Jian Wushuang now has a high level of awareness of Kendo, and even has created a 7th order advanced mastery, even if he wants to perform the 7th order primary mastery, he must come with a sword and a sword. Dozens of swords of light are directly displayed in one breath. Each one can be comparable to the master level of extinction. It's in the realm of Kendo. The sword did not sink in double-sided color, and saw the sword light that came from each attack, but it was not afraid. His shape greeted him directly, and Xiefeng's sword in his hand also waved. Dang! Clang! 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 An extremely dense impact sounded, and these dozens of sword lights were resisted by the sword. But after all, it is the mastery of mastery level. This resists, and Jian Wushuang is also very strenuous. After dozens of collisions, his body is forced to retreat a great distance. Jian 13 saw this, but his eyes were still so cold, and he waved with him again. Howl! Wow! 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 I saw a dazzling sword light, like a storm, swept out again. This scene stunned the people watching the game. They didn't expect that Emperor 13 would perform the sword technique at the level of domination. It would be so easy as if it was a hand-to-hand. Wu Jian's eyes were also sinking, followed by an erupting Jianny moment. This sword, with endless hatred, rushed towards Jiuxiao. Dominate the level of extinction, never die, is also a sword skill in attack and kill. To death endlessly is a kind of image created by Jian Wushuang. In power, it must be a whole lot stronger. If it is said that the elephants are only the most common among the 7th order elementary peers, then the endless trick is definitely the top level in the 7th order elementary peers. Boom! With a fierce roar, the void was directly opened into a huge cave. Fearing in that cave, terrible mighty power swept through, with that endless hatred sweeping all directions, and at the same time smashed all those bright sword lights from Emperor 13. And Jian Wushuang is also a step forward, already appeared in front of Emperor 13. How? Raging power with endless flames rises instantly. Seventh order advanced tertiary education. The sun is burning. Boom. As if the volcano that had been silent for billions of years erupted suddenly, this sword contained terrifying power and erupted completely in front of Emperor 13. Seeing this now, Emperor 13 was still calm. At the moment when the sword light was cut, the sword in his hand was straight out. Hidden sword. The two words that are light and fluttering are swept up with a unique sword. The void in which Emperor Sun 13 was located seemed to start to undergo great changes at this moment. Wu Mingming is a vast void, suddenly forming a heavy storm, a horror-swirling wind, more than 1,000 meters in diameter appears. What is terrible is that this eye of the wind is completely transformed by the sword. Jian Wushuang's sword technique with explosive power shows all its power in the eye of the wind, but it can act in the center of the eye, but in a moment it is strangled by the power of the eye, and the strangulation is clean, nothing was left. Buzz. The sword changed, and the huge vortex suddenly disappeared. The Emperor 13 appeared again in front of the sword, and his complexion was still incomparable. Even if the sword with the horror that Jian Wushuang had just faced did not appear at all to change, it was obvious that the sword that Wushuang had just cast had been blocked by him lightly, and not only did he not suffer any damage, not even step backwards, he took the sword Wushuang on the front. This was the strongest sword 30 years ago. The Emperor 13 didn't move. So terrible swordsmanship. Even the power weakened by the star-burning sun is instantly cleaned. Emperor 13, you have created such a defensive swordplay. Jian Wushuang stared at Emperor 13 in front of his body, physically and mentally. Shocked. Swords are unparalleled. Your swordsmanship is indeed very strong. At least in terms of attack, your explosive power contained in swordsmanship is far above my strongest sword. But Kendo is not just about attacking and killing mighty power. That's it. Emperor 13 calmly spoke. Do you know where the gap exists between you and me? It is in swordplay that I have created a complete swordplay system, with my swordplay centered on the world of swords, and then evolved to be able to continue to attack and kill. The Emperor's sword has also evolved a Tibetan sword that can defend against all attacks. In addition, there are various sword techniques used to entangle the enemy and cause instant kills. This is a complete swordplay system, attackable, defensive, advanceable, and retreatable, and mutually reinforcing. Even in this sword world, I have very little consumption of swordplay. But your swordsmanship is different. Although your swordsmanship also includes various aspects, they are all used for attack and kill. That is to say, your swordsmanship only pursues attack and kill, but you are far worse in defense and advancement. Today's battle, you are in the world of my sword. Even if you show all your swordsmanship, you will not be able to break my Tibetan sword, but you can face my swordsmanship, but you have no defense. This battle, you lose. The 13th look of Emperor is still indifferent, but his words are full of absolute confidence. He is indeed full of confidence in his sword system. Because of this, he would have so much confidence before that he could defeat Jian Wushuang on the kendo. It turns out that his self-confidence is by no means unpredictable. Just for a brief encounter, Jian Wushuang has already performed the 7th level advanced mastery. It is no surprise that this should be the strongest sword created by Jian Wushuang, but it still cannot break his hidden sword. As long as he can't break his Tibetan sword, in this sword world, his 13th emperor is invincible. Chapter 3704. Third more. A complete swordplay system. Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed slightly. Once upon a time, he also wanted to create a complete swordplay system. Thus, There was the later Wushuang sword. However, as Emperor 13 said, the Wushuang sword code is all about attacking and killing swordsmanship, but it does not even have one type of defensive swordsmanship. It is indeed incomplete. In contrast, Emperor 13's swordsmanship, based on the world of swords, and then evolved the Emperor's sword and Tibetan sword that can be attacked and defended. The world of this sword itself is equivalent to the field of swordsmanship. The sword impact of the ocean at that moment has always had an impact on sword Wushuang itself. What God 13 said, his swordsmanship is indeed a complete system. And this swordsmanship system, just like a magic circle, can also complement each other, attack and defend one, and advance and retreat. Such swordsmanship is indeed powerful. Emperor 13, the man who was once called the first kendo genius of the early divine realm, Jian Wushuang finally truly learned today. There are many places in the opponent's achievements in swordplay that he cannot reach. And this is because in the past 30 years, he has made great progress in kendo and swordplay by seeing the secret lines in that Town-esque sky monument. Already, Emperor 13, I'd like to see if your swordplay system is really complete and if it is really that powerful. Jian Wushuang licked his lips and shot again the next moment. Wow, wow, wow. The light of the sword shines, which moves the origin of the kendo universe. I saw that on the battlefield, Jian Wushuang had fully demonstrated his sword skills. Like the several swordsmanships in the Wushuang Sword Classic, as well as the purple charms, swords such as the rainbow created in that special time and space, and even the 7th-tier advanced Peerless Spark created by Jian Wushuang. He is the biggest. Degree of exertion. Time and time again, while fighting against Emperor 13 Emperor's sword, he wanted to break Emperor Xii's hidden sword. However, the Tibetan sword of Emperor 13 seems to be integrated with the whole sword world. This sword technique is almost impeccable. Even the fire of the sun cannot regret this Tibetan sword. Other sword techniques of the sword, unparalleled, cannot be broken. In contrast, Emperor 13's Emperor's sword seems to be not very powerful, but the key is that he can easily display it. He shot at will dozens of swords, and dozens of Emperor's swords were cut at the same time. This gave the sword Wushuang brought great trouble. There is also a sword-like ocean that is constantly impacting. Even during the battle, Emperor 13 also performed other sword techniques derived from the world of swords. Among them, there was even one type of sword power that was extremely powerful. How much weaker the sword of the sword warrior is. When confronted with this, people with good eyes can see that Jian Wushuang is at an absolute disadvantage. It is normal. As long as the Tibetan sword cannot be broken, from the beginning, Emperor 13 has been invincible. It is indeed Emperor Xii's sword system. He created a sword system that can be attacked from a distance and can be prevented from near, and it is impeccable. Even in the world of swords, Jian Tianhou has nothing to do with the sword art of Emperor 13. In fact, Jian Tianhou's sword skills are already very strong and terrible, especially the sword that bursts out like a fierce fire. The power is really terrible and strong and suffocating, but even that sword cannot be broken. Open the 13 Tibetan sword. This Emperor 13 did not know how his swordsmanship was created. It was too strong. The people watching around were amazed. They can all see that this battle is that Jian Wushuang is in a disadvantage, but they do not feel that Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship is weak, but that the sword system of Emperor 13 is too strong and abnormal. Even those lords secretly groaned when they saw the scene in front of them. It seems that the outcome has been determined. Xianyan smiled. It's a pity. The Lord of the Cut, heavens sighed. In fact, simply on the understanding of the origin of Kendo universe, Jian Tianhou is not weaker than Emperor 13, but in the sword art created by both sides, Emperor 13 is stronger. Go ahead. If it is a frontal battle for power, Tian Ho Xiaoyu will not be weaker or even stronger than Emperor 13. However, Emperor He 13 has created a complete sword system. In the world of swords, it is almost invincible. Under the same authority, Tian Ho Xiaoyu really can't help it. It's normal to lose, after all. Emperor 13 has been passed down from the era of Qixing Xuanzong, and Emperor 13 is at the level of the rule, but he has stayed for a long time. He has been studying Kendo for a long time, studying sword art. Therefore, it is possible to create this complete swordplay system. And this sword heaven, the practice time is still too short, and it has not been long to master the origin of Kendo universe. In swordplay, he still has a long way to go. However, in such a short period of time, it is possible to reach such a high achievement in Kendo perception, and it will be sooner or later to surpass Emperor 13 in the future. I hope this battle will not cause too much damage to Tian Ho Xiaoyu. The Lord of Time and Space side. Inside these three masters, Xianyan is better. It is still a pity that the Lord of the Sky and the Lord of Time and Space are cut. They actually hoped that Jian Wushuang could defeat Emperor 13 in this battle, but the reality was, sword unparalleled, you can't break my Tibetan sword, let it go. In the battlefield, Emperor 13 looked indifferent, staring at Jian Wushuang. In this battle, from the beginning to the end, Emperor 13 seemed extremely calm. On the other hand, Jian Wushuang has been extremely embarrassed by the sword of Emperor 13. In addition, Jian Wushuang has not been able to break the Tibetan sword of Emperor 13, so in many people's opinion, the battle has actually been determined. But after hearing Emperor Xi's words, Jian Wushuang smiled. Emperor 13, the swordplay system you created really admired me and gave me a lot of inspiration. I never thought that sword art could, with such a complete system, even swordsmanship can evolve and complement each other. I have to thank you for giving me a lesson, but it's unlikely that you want me to give in so easily. Oh, Emperor 13 looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. In the current situation, Jian Wushuang didn't know it yet. Could it be possible? What other cards did he use on Kendo? Emperor 13, I admit that if I confronted you 30 years ago, I would never be your opponent, but now it may not be. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly. Do you still have stronger swordsmanship? The 13 eyes flashed in surprise. Jian Wushuang smiled. It was the default. Yes, 30 years ago, the strongest swordplay he created was the trick of burning the sun. But in the past 30 years, he has realized the secret patterns under the town's sky monument, and the progress in Kendo has been tremendous, and he has also made a great breakthrough in swordplay. Now, he has indeed created a sword technique that is far stronger than the sunburn. Chapter 3705. The first is more. Emperor 13, pick me up. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly, and the blood-peaked sword in his hand also lightened at this moment. He held the blood-peaked sword in both hands at the same time and raised it high, and suddenly a large number of Kendo universe origins seemed to be attracted and raging. The sword of Wushuang has not yet fallen. It is just in the making. But this brewing process shocked everyone present. Heavenly sword, is there really any stronger swordsmanship? Looking like this, it seems like this. Just looking at his sword's brewing process, his power is extremely extraordinary. The people watching the battle all stared at the scene in the field. As for the Emperor 13's look still indifferent, he stared at Jian Wushuang. It's useless. Your understanding of the origin of the Kendo universe is similar to mine. At most, the sword skill that can be created by this kind of understanding can only reach the 7th level advanced. With this level of swordplay, my Tibetan sword cannot be broken. Oh, is that it? Jian Wushuang smiled indiscriminately. Following the blood-peaked sword in his hand, it finally fell. Wow. A sword is cut out, and the void is completely chaotic. There was no roar or explosive sound, and the sword that Wu Shuangshuang cut out at this moment did not seem to have such terrible power. Of course, the magic sword fell, but an icy sword light directly cut the space relentlessly, tearing up everything in front of it, and ruthlessly beheaded at the 13th Emperor. If Jian Wushuang's 7th-tier advanced peerless star-burning sun was created before, it's extremely violent, and it is an instant burst of shocking power. Then the sword he is casting now is cold and ruthless. This cold and ruthless sword seems to cut through everything that is encountered. No one, nothing, can block its edge. The name of this sword is Luo Huangquan. A sword fell to Huangquan Road. This sword, originally supposed to be cast by Huangquan's Excalibur, is more appropriate, but now it is only a kendo competition. Sword Wushuang's Exaltation, with the blood peak Excalibur, can already show its mighty power. The people watching the battle around saw this cold and ruthless, as if they could cut all the sword lights, and their hearts were trembling. What a terrible sword! This sword is too strong. It is obviously far away from us, but I can still feel the invincibility of the sword. This sword is indeed stronger than the swordsmanship performed before Jianianho. I don't know if Emperor 13 can resist it. The expectant eyes were staring at the battlefield. Everyone watched intently, for fear of missing even one picture. And in the middle of the battlefield, the cold, ruthless, invincible Jianguang has appeared in front of Emperor 13. Emperor 13's look remained unchanged. Hidden sword. As Emperor 13's voice fell, the horrifying vortex-like wind eye, with a diameter of more than 1,000 meters, reappeared. This eye of the wind still contains the power to strangle everything, enough to resolve any offensive. Prior to the sword, Wushuang shot again, and again, no matter how he performed the sword, even if it was performed by the spark of the sun, he could not defeat the wind, but was completely resolved by the wind. It is also with this move that Emperor 13 is almost incomparable in this sword world. Now, Emperor 13 is casting the same sword, but the difference is that he is facing the falling Huangquan style that Jian Wushuang casts enough to cut through all obstacles in front of him. Laugh! There was still not much roar, and the cold and ruthless sword light darted into the center of the eye of the wind, producing only the sound of energy colliding with each other. Everyone originally thought that this cold and ruthless sword light should be gradually worn away by the wind, eye as before. But suddenly, boom, the whole wind eye suddenly produced a fierce roar. Immediately, countless sword-like violent rises, this sword-like vortex wind, eye also lost its previous balance and directly rioted. And the eye of the wind was the most central, and the cold and ruthless Jianguang burst into a bright light. It's awkward. The whole wind eye has been completely broken up. The sky sword intentions crumbled towards the surroundings. What? Emperor 13 finally showed shock, and the self-confidence deep in his heart disappeared at the moment when the eye of the wind was shattered. He previously thought that Jian Wushuang's perception of the origin of Kendo universe was similar to him. The sword art he could create was at most a 7th level higher level, which was not strong. Facts have proved that the sword of Huangquan that is currently being cast by Jian Wushuang is indeed only the 7th level advanced peerless school. But he never expected that it was this sword that directly defeated his Tibetan sword. The law of the universe. This sword contains a breath of the laws of the universe. Emperor 13's body trembled, and his pupils enlarged and sunken. At the moment the sword Yifeng's eyes collapsed, he noticed the special breath in the cold and ruthless sword light. That very special breath, although he had never been in close contact, he felt it anyway. That is the supreme law of the universe, the breath that the law of the universe can have. There is a breadth of the laws of the universe in the sword art performed by Jian Wushuang. This is simply incredible. Compared to the thrill of Emperor 13, Jian Wushuang looked very calm, and a faint smile appeared on his face. In the past 30 years, I worked hard to study the secret lines under the Sky Monument in that town. The secret lines were originally derived from the laws of the universe. The enchanted laws of the universe are extremely strong. Before the laws of the universe came down, I was also near distance, and the law of the universe had been contacted. Because of my close contact and the opportunity to get up close, I was able to grasp the breadth of the law of the universe by virtue of the law of the universe in the secret line. Although the breadth of this cosmic law is extremely weak and extremely small, it is after all the supreme cosmic law. I incorporated it into my swordsmanship, which created the trick of falling huangquan. Yes, the Tibetan sword of Emperor 13 is very good. Based on the ordinary 7th order advanced extinction, it is impossible to break his Tibetan sword, but the 7th level advanced extinction sword technique with a hint of the law of the universe is enough. His Tibetan sword was crushed head-on. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands tightly. The breath of the law of the universe is just a hint of the breath of the law of the universe, not the true law of the universe. Under normal circumstances, only the super strong who has reached the supreme level are qualified to understand the laws of the universe and master a little bit of the laws of the universe. But if it is only the breath of the laws of the universe, the master practitioners can master it. Now, the sword unparalleled has just grasped the breadth of this cosmic law. Chapter 3706. Wandao Sword Master, Second More. After Jian Yifeng's eyes were broken, the cold and ruthless one did not completely dissipate, but carried the good power directly to Emperor 13. Jian Guang eventually dissipated, but the world was completely silent. Around the battlefield, countless strong men looked at the scene in front of them, and their eyes were full of shock. The Tibetan sword of Emperor 13 was broken. His sword system was defeated by the sword Tianho. Are you defeated? One after another sounded in horror. Jian Wushuang held the sword, stood in the void, and stared at Emperor 13 in front. Emperor Zizing, looking at the white trace on the chest of the treasure, had an incredible look in his eyes. But soon, Emperor Xii's expression calmed down. He raised his head again and looked at Jian Wushuang, but a rare smile appeared on his face. This battle is indeed a sword winless. In the eyes of everyone, the strongest sword cast by Jian Wushuang directly defeated Emperor Xii's sword system and cut it on Emperor Xi's body. Although this sword did not bring much damage to Emperor 13, it was able to defeat its sword system, which has shown that Sword Wushuang is stronger than Emperor 13. Emperor 13 was defeated and convinced. The swordplay system you created is really amazing. If I had some special opportunities in these years and made great progress in Kendo, I would never be your opponent. Jian Wushuang also praised. He praised Emperor 13 sincerely. Whether the opponent is in the understanding of Kendo or the swordplay system he created, it is really powerful. In particular, the swordplay system has given him great inspiration. If it were not for his chance that he could incorporate a breath of cosmic law into swordplay, he would not be able to defeat the opponent in Kendo. Therefore, a strong swordsman like Emperor 13 is naturally enough to make the sword unparalleled. Losing is losing. There is no other reason. From today on, you are really worthy of the gods in the beginning. Kendo is the strongest. Emperor 13 said. Although he lost, he didn't lose a bit of words, and even on the contrary, he still had a touch of joy. Obviously, he hoped that Jian Wushuang could defeat him in Kendo. The reason is without him, precisely because he is invincible for too long on the Kendo. The so-called loneliness of the master is precisely because he has been invincible, so he longs for someone to challenge his status. Even in kendo, defeat him, but for a long time, but no one has been able to do so. It's boring to find no opponent. But today, someone has done it. Jian Wushuang used kendo, and in a fair competition, he wins him. On the contrary, he felt a sense of relief, and at the same time, he had a joy from the heart. In addition, there is another reason. That is what Jian Wushuang was carrying, but the hope of the whole early gods. Only Jian Wushuang can let Taichu God Realm get rid of the master of the demon star, and only he can restore Taichu God Realm to normal operation. Therefore, Jian Wushuang's strength is very important to the early gods. Now, seeing Jian Wushuang's accomplishments on the kendo are so high, and even a breath of the law of the universe is incorporated into the sword art. This surprised the Emperor 13, and was also glad that Jian Wushuang could be so strong. The stronger Jian Shuang's strength, the greater the hope of representing the early gods. Countless powerful men watching the battle around heard what Emperor 13 said. Starting today, Jian Wushuang was the strongest sword in the early world, and everyone was shocked. With countless words full of awe and worship, Zhao Jianshou looked over. Next to the void, the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of Time and Space, and Xian Yan also came over. Jian Tianhou, be able to defeat Emperor 13 in the kendo. You are really powerful. Xian Yan said. He didn't like Jian Wushuang at first, mainly because of Xian Yi's relationship. However, because of the amazing strength that Jian Wushuang showed later, he changed his attitude towards Jian Wushuang. And now he sees Jian Wushuang defeating Emperor 13 on the kendo front, and even he can't help but marvel. He is very clear about Emperor Xi's kendo attainment, and Emperor Xi's talent in kendo has once frightened him. But now, Jian Wushuang's talent in kendo is obviously stronger than Emperor 13. It's so young, and it's only the master of the rules, but it has mastered a breath of the laws of the universe. It's incredible. Jian Tianhou is looking forward to your future growth. The eyes of the master of the Celestial Alliance flickered with a strong light, staring at Jian Wushuang. You're all welcome. Jian Wushuang smiled and looked around. This is the end of the war today. If there is nothing else, I will leave first. Jian Wushuang did not stay more. He had been immersed in the study of the first secret pattern in Jintian Bay, but only because he had an agreement with Emperor 13 before. He would temporarily stop having the amazing kendo battle. But now that the war is over, he will naturally return to the chaotic world of ancient times and delve into the secret lines in the town's monument again. After all, the secret pattern of the town's Tianbei is too esoteric. Even if it is only the first, he spent 30 years and has not been able to get started. After Jian Wushuang left, all the people watching the battle also dispersed. However, after this war, the name of Jian Wushuang, the strongest kendo in the early world of God, was fully implemented. The original name was Emperor 13. Although Emperor 13 was defeated by Jian Wushuang, he did not suffer a slight blow. On the contrary, because of the last battle, because Jian Wushuang's last sword with the breath of the law of the universe, because he was defeated by Jian Wushuang on the kendo, he caused a great shock in his heart. This shock made his bottleneck, which had stopped for many years, begin to loosen. In this battle, the harvest of Emperor 13 was also huge. So after the end of the war, Emperor 13 began the retreat directly. In the chaotic world of ancient times, before the town monument, Jian Wushuang sat down again. I didn't expect that just a breath of the laws of the universe would raise my sword power to a whole new level. I do know if one day I really have a grasp of the laws of the universe, how strong is that? Jian Wushuang clenched his hands. His eyes flashed sharply. But soon He closed his eyes and began to devote himself to the realization of the first secret line. Time passes again. Chapter 3707. The first is more. In the blink of an eye, the battle between Jian Wushuang and Emperor 13 has passed 5,000 years ago. In the past 5,000 years, Jian Wushuang has been enlightening the first mysterious pattern in front of the town's monument. And in the beginning, the world has been extremely calm during the past 5,000 years, and there have been few major events. The eye-catching, that is, the reemergence of the seven-star Xuanzhou, has only regained a great place in the early world of the gods, the cosmic void, the star field where the kingdom of God was, in the beginning, one of the three battlefields, Red Rock Mountain. The vast Scarlet Land is like a huge scarlet mouth that devours everything. In the Redstone Mountains, no one dares to set foot on the Scarlet Earth and can only stand by the Bloodstones standing on the Scarlet Earth. As one of the three major battlefields in the universe, Red Rock Mountain is endlessly dangerous and has many opportunities. Naturally, there are many powerful people in this field. In the heart of Redstone Mountain, two rulers landed on a bloodstone. Both of them are tall and short, their breath is not weak, and they have reached the level of the 6 realms of void. Our luck is really good. We have been here for tens of thousands of years, and we haven't got a decent treasure. The taller man wailed. Do NT be content? Although the two of us have NT got the top-level cosmic treasures these years, we still got a few of them. Even the higher masters got 2. The harvest is no small. You want to get a higher level, more precious treasure. Then you have to go deeper. Another little old man said, Deeper? The tall man shrinks his eyes and pupils, then shakes his head. This is already the core area. If you go deeper, it will be too dangerous for you and me. Just know. The little old man smiled. And just as the two talked, casually, boom, the earth shook fiercely, and the whole Redstone Mountain and the continent below it trembled wildly at this moment. What's wrong? What happened? The tall man and the little old man both showed surprise and looked around blankly around the void. Suddenly, there was a loud noise somewhere in front of the blood-colored earth, and then the blood-colored land exploded directly, and a large cloud of blood-colored clouds erupted directly from the blasted land like a volcanic eruption come out. The red clouds swept wildly, and the power was shaking. In a blink of an eye, the majestic red cloud had reached the bloodstone where the tall man and the little old man were. Hurry up! The tall man and the little old man were startled, and they did not hesitate to burst out at their fastest speed and swept away into the void. And as soon as they were in shape, the vast blood-colored cloud invaded, completely covering the bloodstone where they had just been. After the coverage, the bloodstone still hasn't changed much, but from that blood-colored cloud, you can hear the creepy erosion sounds very clearly. This voice changed the look of the tall man with that little old man. But they didn't wait for the two to be glad they had escaped, and the clouds and mist swept again. At the same time, on the Scarlet Earth, not far away, the same scene happened. It is also like a volcano erupting from the ground. A large swath of blood-colored clouds erupted from the ground, and then swept wildly around. It's not just the area where the tall man and the little old man are located. This Red Rock Mountain is already in a huge riot at this moment. Deep in the Red Rock Mountain, in every corner, the blood-colored land burst suddenly, and countless blood-colored clouds erupted from it, sweeping away and eroding everything around it. The entire Red Rock Mountain, like a huge active volcano, erupted completely. The majesty is shaking. The countless practitioners who roamed the Redstone Mountain were scared after seeing this scene, but soon they turned into surprises. Red Cloud Fog Tide. This is Red Cloud Fog Tide. So many blood-colored clouds erupted from the ground and swept the entire Red Rock Mountain. This is the legendary tide of red clouds and mist. Red clouds and fog tide finally appeared again. Many of them have spent a lot of time in the battlefield of the universe. They know a lot of practitioners, and they have already understood why there is such a drastic change in Red Rock Mountain. They also understand that this dramatic change in Red Rock Mountain is exactly the legendary red cloud and fog tide. The red cloud and fog tide is quite dangerous, and it is absolutely catastrophic for practitioners who roam the Red Rock Mountain, because these blood-colored clouds erupting from the ground contain a horrible erosion ability, which is enough to easily sacrifice the Lord of the Rules with a divine power. Even if the Lord of the Rules is accidentally covered by this blood-colored cloud, it will fall. The opportunity will be considerable. Therefore, the current Red Rock Mountain, almost all the rulers are fleeing wildly. Deep in the Red Rock Mountains, the tall man who happened to encounter the red cloud fog tide, even the tall man at the core of the red cloud fog tide, and the little old man were fleeing wildly at the moment, and the two were extremely shocked inside. Red cloud fog tide. I didn't expect that the two of us even encountered the red cloud fog tide, and it was just at the center of this red cloud fog tide. This time, the trouble is big. The tall man drank low. Damn, isn't this red cloud fog tide not long before the last outbreak? Why did it erupt again in such a short period of time? The little old man cursed. Who knows? This red cloud fog tide, the eruption, for most people, is definitely extremely happy to see. I believe that many people in this star field have been informed of this news, and they are very surprised, but the red cloud and mist tide is the most central part of the mist tide now. For you and me, that's a disaster. We must think of a way and quickly escape from the mist tide, or wait for the mist tide to be connected in all directions, and the two of us will be dead, said the tall man. Hurry up. The two are now fleeing like crazy. I just want to find a gap in the red clouds and mists in all directions, and then escape. But if they can find that trace of space, or if it is too late, they don't know. However, as they said, although the two of them are now terrified and fleeing frantically, many powerful people in this star field have begun to get excited when they learn the news of the red clouds and fog. Chapter 3708. Second more. Beihai Palace. As the overall power of this star field is enough to rank in the top 3 forces, Beihai Palace knew the red cloud and fog tide of Hongsher Mountain as soon as possible. In the Great Hall of the palace, many of the top powerhouses in Beihai Palace have almost arrived. Even those who are roaming in the 3 major battlefields are now consciously incarnate here. The 3 masters of Beihai Palace also sat at the top in turn. It's been 120 million years since the last time it appeared, but this red cloud and mist has reappeared. It's really too early this time. It's also normal. The timing of the occurrence of the red cloud and fog tide has no regular pattern. The oldest one appeared after a full 800 million years. Now, this time, it's 120 million years. It's not too short. Now, the high-ranking powerhouses of Beihai Palace are talking about it. After the red clouds and mist sea appeared, the red cloud realm should also appear. A rule master of the peak of the 6 realms suddenly said, when it comes to the 3 words of the red cloud realm, many Beihai Palace strongmen present smiled. Obviously, the reason why they are excited to hear the red cloud and fog sea is because of this red cloud world. At this time, the 3 masters sitting at the top, among them the strongest and most noble Tianping dominated, spoke in person after the red clouds and mist sea appeared. There was no accident that the red cloud realm would be born immediately, and every time Han Yanji is born, it is a great opportunity, and this time it is no exception. So, My Majesty, the Beihai Palace, can now prepare for it. 10 days later, you will follow me to Hongsher Mountain. this trip to the Red Cloud realm. This seat will go in person. Long Yuan, you go with me. As for Shinkong, you stay in Beihai Palace. Tianpeng dominates, looking around the two masters. Although both dominate, it is clear that the two people around him are dominated by Tianpeng. Yes, Lord Long Yuan and Shinkong both nodded. Obviously, there was a touch of excitement in the of Long Yuan. As for the dominion of Shinkong, although there was some regret, there was no complaint. After all, in terms of strength, his Stark is the weakest of the three, and it is reasonable to stay in the town. As for the opportunity in the Red Cloud world, only Tianpeng and Long Yuan can fight. 10 days later, everyone in Beihai Palace set off. The vast universe is empty, and a triangular gray palace quietly suspends there. In this palace are the old ghosts and the life-falling king. Although both of them stayed in this palace for a long time, they knew the big things that happened in this star field. Like the red cloud and fog tide that appeared in Hongshe Mountain this time, the two men also learned the first time. The red cloud and fog tide appeared, so it seems that the red cloud world will soon see the sun again. The bone old man smiled lightly. The ghostly bones are extremely long-lived, but they are characters of the same age as the Lord of Time and Space. He has experienced this red cloud and fog wave many times and naturally knows it. The red cloud realm, I have also heard that it is said to be a great opportunity. Many dominant powers in this territory are very looking forward to this opportunity, and they will definitely not miss it. That's it. The ghost bone nodded his head, but then asked, "Life is falling. You are also a strong leader. This time the Red Cloud Realm was born. Don't you want to go and see your luck?" "Of course I have to go. If I miss this opportunity, I don't know how long it will take until the next time." Wang Meteor smiled. "Minggu, how about you?" "What I said." The bone moan groaned for a moment, followed by a smile. "Anyway, there is nothing to do these years. Just go and see. Then go together." Wang Meteor smiled. Soon, the two ghosts and the meteorite went to the Red Rock Mountain. Shingong. As this star field also has a certain reputation, there are also many practitioners in Shingong who have been rushing around in Red Rock Mountain. When the drastic changes took place in the Red Rock Mountains, the Shingong also received news. After receiving the news, the Xian Shinto people summoned many of the strongest men in the Celestial Palace as soon as possible. I saw more than 10 figures sitting in the towering palace. These more than 10 figures are among the most powerful 6 realms in the Star Palace. The red cloud fog tide appears, and the red cloud world will soon reappear. If you are interested in the opportunity in the red cloud world, you can go to Hongshe Mountain as soon as possible and enter the red cloud world to search for the opportunity. This place has only one requirement for you. Shinto eyes look down. After the red cloud realm, you must unite as much as possible so that you can get the maximum benefit for my planet. Yes. The head of the dozen or so rules, Zheng Jianjian, had soon left. After the lord of these rules has left. Hum. For shadows appeared around the mysterious Shinto man. These 3 people are the sword unparalleled, the lord of the sky, the lord of space and time, and the ancestor of heaven. Among them, Jian Wushuang, Lord of the Heavens and Lord of Space and Time, are all deities now in the early divine realm, and those who appear here are just conscious incarnations. "Mysterious God, you called me to wait. What's the matter?" asked the Lord of the Heavens. Jian Wushuang also looked at Xian Shinto. He was enlightened in the chaotic world of ancient times, under that town's sky monument, and was suddenly summoned by the mysterious Shinto man, telling him to be aware of it. Xian Shinto people know that he has been practicing these years. Under normal circumstances, there is no important thing. Shinto people should not disturb themselves. There is something just 3 days ago at the Red Rock Mountain. The red clouds were everywhere, and no accident, it was the red cloud mist tide, and it reappeared. Shinto, humane. Red clouds and fog tide. The Lord of the Heavens and the Lord of Time and Space were all surprised when they heard this, and then they all showed surprise. Only Jian Wushuang has a doubtful look. He hasn't practiced for a long time and hasn't spent much time in the universe battlefield. He hasn't been to Hongshe Mountain, so he doesn't know many things. Like this so-called red cloud and mist, he didn't know what it was. The mysterious Shinto man on the side naturally saw Jian Wushuang's doubts and couldn't help laughing. The red clouds and fog are a peculiar phenomenon unique to Hongshishan. When it appears, the red clouds will cover the entire Redstone Mountain, and the terror and erosion power contained in this red cloud is enough to easily kill the ruler. So this red cloud fog tide is a disaster to Red Rock Mountain. This explanation made Jian Wushuang even more confused. Since it is a disaster, why are they so surprised? Jian Wushuang wondered. There was a little time in the afternoon, so 2 more updates today. Chapter 3709. The first is here. Since it is a disaster, why are they so surprised? Jian Wushuang did not understand. A few people of the Shinto saw this, but looked at each other and smiled. Tian Ho Xiaoyu, you don't know, this red cloud and mist is indeed a disaster for Hongshishan, but under this disaster, there is also a huge opportunity hidden in it. Shindao laughed. Chance. Jian Wushuang looked. Red Cloud Realm is one of the greatest opportunities in the Red Rock Mountain. Shinto humane. Each time the red cloud fog tide appears, the Red Cloud Realm will reappear, and then all practitioners can enter the Red Cloud Realm and stay inside. For 10,000 years. The Red Cloud world is full of endless opportunities and jibao. As long as you have good luck and have some strength, you can get these opportunities. Since the 3 battlefields existed in this star field, the Red Cloud Realm in Hongshe Mountain has appeared many times. Under normal circumstances, the Red Cloud Fog Tide will only appear once every hundreds of millions of years. The Red Cloud Realm. Naturally, it will only be opened once in hundreds of millions of years, but this time is not specified. Sometimes it is a long time apart, like the longest one, it is a full 800 million years apart. Every time the Red Cloud Realm is opened, countless powerful people in this star field will go crazy and enter the Red Cloud Realm. And of course, many of them will get great opportunities in it. For example, billions of years ago, there was a ruler who was obviously very strong, but luck was good. In the Red Cloud world, he got a great opportunity. After staying in the Red Cloud world for 10,000 years, he directly reached the level of domination. And with strong secret skills, the combat power can directly match the top master. There are others who have received an invaluable heritage in the Red Cloud realm. They have also skyrocketed since then, reaching the top of this star field in just hundreds of thousands of years, and then ran to the depths of the universe. Of course, these are very rare opportunities. These opportunities, not only in the Red Cloud realm, but in many other places on the 3 battlefields, hide such great opportunities. But those big opportunities contain big crises, and the Red Cloud realm, it is relatively easy to encounter, and the crisis is smaller. In terms of arcana, every time the Red Cloud world reappears, there will be a large number of universe arcanas, like top-level, peak-level universe arcana, whether it is attacking the magic soldier, the arcane warframe, or the domain, repression, or flight. Wait, everything is available, and there are many, even the strongest cosmic treasure. Every time the Red Cloud realm is born, in this 10,000 years, there will definitely be the strongest universe treasure born. And there is not only one, but 10 full ones. Although most of them are attacking gods, the most precious battle is as well as other special types of the most powerful cosmic treasures, will also exist. Like Tianzu, his axe with the strongest cosmic treasure was the one he got inside when the Red Cloud realm appeared last time. The mysterious man smiled. Haha, I was purely lucky that time, and I happened to encounter one of the strongest cosmic treasures, and it happened to be something I could use. Tianzu smiled very proudly. In terms of strength, the Celestials are relatively ordinary among those who dominate the ranks. Under normal circumstances, such a primary dominator, unless it is supported by a large force, otherwise they cannot use the strongest universe in their hands. Ancestor was lucky, and in the Red Cloud world, he got a giant axe that just fits. Hearing the conversation between the two, Jian Wushuang couldn't help getting excited. As the mysterious god said, the great opportunity contained in the Red Cloud realm is not very attractive to Jian Wushuang. After all, those great opportunities are generally only available to those who have truly gone the Universiade. Under normal circumstances, once the Red Cloud world was born, it is good for one person to get such great opportunities. Jian Wushuang does not think he will with so much luck, but those precious treasures born in the Red Cloud realm in this 10,000 years will make the sword unparalleled. A large number of top-level cosmic treasures, and even 10 strongest cosmic treasures. The strongest universe is the treasure of that level, but it is enough to make the strong ones who dominate the level furiously compete. In this star field, there are many masters who do not have the strongest cosmic treasure in their hands. These masters are eager to get a strong cosmic treasure that is suitable for them, just like Tianzu. On weekdays, they are smashing among the 3 battlefields. Although there are indeed some of the strongest cosmic treasures in the 3 battlefields, it is only after a long time that they could be born. It looks like the Red Cloud realm. As long as the Red Cloud realm is open, in 10,000 years within time, there will be no less than 10 strongest universe treasures born. Who would miss this opportunity? It is no wonder that the powerful parties in this star field will be so eager for the Red Cloud realm. It is no wonder that the Xian Shinto people are a few of them, and at this moment they are extremely surprised. The Red Cloud realm is a huge gospel for both the rulers of this star field and those who are above the rule. Tianho Xiaoyu, your strength is no less than that of the High Master, but on the treasure, although you have the strongest precious sword that you got from the master of Tianping before and the map of the mountains and rivers that your master left to you, Zhenshinbai, but the pictures of Shanhesh and Zhenshinbai cannot be mastered or exhibited, and the single handle is the strongest treasure sword, which is still not enough for you. Xian Shinto, humane. Wu Jianso nodded slightly. He also understands that if he is placed in the star field where he is, he can have the Huangquan Excalibur, the most attacking magic soldiers, and at the same time, the map of Shana society is in his hand. He can one day master the Sky Monument, which is definitely a very rich treasure. Yes, however, his enemies, after all, came from the distant Demon Star, the Demon Star Master. Jane Demon is the master of the second-order astral universe. He has a lot of resources, and there are definitely a lot of treasures, much richer than himself. So Jian Wushuang must be trying to find more ways to get more precious treasures. At least, he must have a decent strong treasure of precious treasures, right? This time the Red Cloud realm can be born at this time. It is absolutely good news for us, which means that we can make as many treasures as possible for Tianho Xiaoyu, as much as possible in this 10,000 years, waiting for the Lord of the Clouds. When it comes, we will have another chance to win. Xian Shinto, humane. Wu Jianso nodded slightly. Xianshin, there are countless treasures in the Red Cloud realm. I wonder if there will be such treasures as Bingxin Liuyu in the Red Cloud realm? Jian Wushuang asked. Chapter 3710. Hey, the second is here. Bingxin glazed jade. Xian Shinto frowned slightly. As far as I know, the Red Cloud Realm has appeared so many times, among which countless top treasures have been born, and chances have also been gained a lot. As for things like mystic methods, it has also been obtained, but genius and divine treasure, I have not heard of anyone getting it from inside. Well, there doesn't seem to be any special genius and divine treasure in the Red Cloud Realm, but I've heard a rumor about the Red Cloud Realm. The Master of Space and Time suddenly said, "Rumor?" Jian Wushuang looked over. "Heaven Xiaoyu, you may not know yet. In fact, the Red Cloud Realm is not only one heaven and earth, but is divided into three, just like the triple sky of our early god realm. And the strong people in this star field have always been in the Red Cloud Realm. It's just that they are in the first place, and the second and higher third places have never been set foot. So there is a rumor that if anyone has the ability to step on the second sky, he can choose one of the many treasures in the Red Cloud Realm, and there may be a genius and earthen treasure, like Bingxin Liuyu. There are such rumors." Jian Wushuang stunned, but then Shin said, "Is this confirmed by anyone?" "No." The Lord of Time and Space shook his head. Although the tide of red clouds has appeared many times, and there are countless strong men who have entered the red cloud world, but so far, no one seems to be able to really set foot on the second. God, what's going on? Do you not know how to get to the second day? Or, Jian Wushuang asked. "No, the road to the second heaven and earth has been made public long ago, right in the center of the first heaven of the Red Cloud Realm, where there is a towering giant peak that is inserted into the cloud named Tatian Peak. On that Tian Peak, there are many crises, and the strong still stand there. For a long time, those powerful men who entered the Red Cloud Realm will deliberately rush to the summit before the 10,000-year deadline is approaching, but for so many years, no one has been able to really walk to the top of that stepping Tianfeng. Space-Time Hall Main Road. Is that so?" Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. "In the long years, no one can really set foot on the top of the Tianfeng, but I think it is difficult. Tianho Xiaoyu, your cultivation time is short, and now it is only the master level of rules, but the combat power can match the higher master. If you go to the Tianfeng Peak, maybe you have the chance to reach the top." "Road. Time and space. You despise me too much. How easy it is." Jian Wushuang smiled. The Lord of Time and Space Palace just shrugged. Of course, he also knows that it is by no means easy to really set foot on the top of that peak. Even though Jian Wushuang is enchanting enough and perverted, but the peak of the sky, after all, for so many years, no one can set foot on the top. This trip to the Red Cloud Realm was of great significance to the early divine realm. So I couldn't take care of it. So this time, the three of you, the Tianho Xiaoyu, Cho Tian, and Time and Space personally took a trip. And I will continue to collect information in the Star Palace and do emergency support. Can you have any opinions?" Xian, Shinto people looked around the humane. Wu Jianso looked at each other and nodded. They are now present with 5 major dominating powers, of which Jian Wushuang is the absolute core. Now the entire Taichu divine realm and the entire Shingon can be said to be serving Jian Wushuang. Only Jian Wushuang's strength has grown up as soon as possible. Only then has the capital to compete against the demon star. So Jian Wushuang will definitely go to the Red Cloud Realm himself, only to cut the Sky Alliance. The strength is no less than Jian Wushuang, but also a high-level dominating combat power. With his strength in the Red Cloud Realm, the odds of getting the highest treasure will also be higher. At the same time, the Lord of Time and Space, using the rules of time and space, was extraordinary. When he entered the Red Cloud Realm, he could help with Jianshuang's sword, or the Alliance leader. The three of them are indeed the best choice to go to the Red Cloud Realm. As for the Xian Shinto and Tianzu, just stay. Since everyone agrees, go ahead and get ready, and come to the Star Palace to meet as soon as possible. Xian Shinto humane. Okay. Wu Jianwushuang nodded his head. His figure flickered. His avatar of consciousness had disappeared. Eternal chaos world, under the ancient battlefield, before the town monument. Wu Jianshuang's eyes have opened. Red Cloud Realm. Jian Wushuang murmured, and his eyes narrowed slightly. This Red Cloud Realm, for me, did try to get a chance once and get the best chance of the treasure. If I miss this opportunity, I will be afraid of, I don't know where to find the right treasure. In 10,000 years, no less than 10 of the strongest cosmic treasures were born. No matter what, I have to find a way to get one or two. At least I have to get one of the strongest treasures. Jian Wushou held both hands, then stood up, but his gaze was looking at the Jintian monument ahead. The huge, monumental town monument is still standing here in peace. In these 5,000 years, Jian Wushuang has been enlightened in front of the town's monument. Even though 5,000 years have passed, Jian Wushuang has only realized the first secret pattern in Jintian Monument, and realized 20 to 30%. 20 to 30%, it's a long way from a complete mastery. Obviously, he still has a long way to go to truly master the Jintian Monument. However, even if only to realize the secret pattern of 2 or 3% Ku Jian Wushuang's 5,000 advances, it is still very huge. You know, at the beginning, after only 30 years of enlightenment under the Sky Monument in this town, his understanding of the origin of the Kendo universe has improved a lot, and he has even grasped the breadth of the laws of the universe, thus defeating Emperor 13 by relying on sword art. This progress has been made in 30 years. Now he has realized for 5,000 years. For the past 5,000 years, although his progress was not as fast as in the beginning, it was scary enough. Not to mention, just in Kendo, he now has a much stronger understanding of the origin of Kendo universe than before. If he was in the origin of Kendo universe, he just realized a little bit, but now he can at least be considered a threshold of entry. Now he is a sword that he casts at will, and the origin of Kendo universe contained in sword art is much stronger than before, and the power is naturally much stronger than before. His sword skills are stronger than before. Now, if he fights with Emperor 13 again, even if he does not rely on the breadth of the laws of the universe, he can rely on his own understanding of the origin of the Kendo universe. Emperor 13 was completely unable to resist. Chapter 37:11. The first is more. This is just an improvement in Kendo and swordplay. After 5,000 years of enlightenment under the Jintian Monument, you must know that the secret patterns in the Tianzhu Monument are derived from the laws of the universe, and the law of the universe is high above, tolerant of all things. It has been greatly improved. Like the 3 rules of time and space, reincarnation, and destruction that he has fully understood now, because they are fully aware of the relationship, he cannot naturally improve, but he is much better at using these 3 rules than before. Already, the better the rules are used, the stronger the fusion of the 3 rules will be, and the overall strength of Jian Wushuang will be stronger. In addition to these 3 rules, in these 5,000 years, he has also begun to understand the 4th rule, the Earth rule. Although now he has barely begun to contact the laws of the universe, his Kendo has also reached the origin of the Kendo universe, but the rules of heaven and earth are still the masters of the many rules in the universe and even dominate the main enlightenment. Besides, to break from the master of the rules to become the master, you must first understand the 4 rules and fully integrate them. At the time, Jian Wushuang went to the Temple of Rules to test his affinity for the rules of heaven and earth, knowing that in addition to the 3 major rules of time and space, reincarnation and destruction, he had the highest affinity for the rules of gold, destiny, and earth. The reason why Jian Wushuang chose the Earth rule as his 4th enlightenment rule was mainly because of the previous battle with Emperor 13. In the battle with Emperor 13, The complete swordplay system created by Emperor 13 gave him great inspiration and made him realize the shortcomings of his sword art. This is insufficient because his swordsmanship is almost all attack and kill swordsmanship, but there is no defensive swordsmanship, as for other field swordsmanship and trapped enemy swordsmanship. Sword art that is purely attack and kill is indeed too monotonous and incomplete. Recognizing this, he naturally began to make changes to his future kendo, and the earth rule, the nostalgia, is the protection rule with the strongest among the rules with high affinity with him. Realizing the rules of the earth will be of great benefit to his sword skills in the future. In contrast, the rules of gold, the rules of destiny, one is still jiang, attacking. One is nothingness. And the rules of destiny are very small among the many practitioners in the universe. It is not easy to reach the peak of the rules of destiny. Therefore, no two sides of the sword chose the earth rule. In the past 5,000 years, he took part in the enlightenment of the Jintian monument. With the help of the mysterious mystery, he has come to understand the rules of the earth. From the beginning to the present, he has reached a very high level. The distance is completely understood, and the difference is not too great far. I haven't reached the top of the earth rules yet. One day I fully understand the earth rules and fully integrate with the three major rules of time and space, reincarnation, and destruction. I don't know if I can break through the rule, but you can combine the rules of the earth with the rules of reincarnation and start to focus on the creation of body defense swordsmanship. Jian Wushuang's secret road. The rules of the earth are good at protecting the body. Reincarnation rules with the power of life and death are extremely good at protecting the body. The combination of the two is naturally even better. However, even though I haven't fully understood the rules of the earth with my accomplishments in kendo and these 5,000 years of enlightenment, I still create a body sword technique based on the rules of the earth. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang left for the Shingon. Soon, Jian Wushuang once again set foot in the void of the universe, came to the Star Palace, and merged with the Lord of the Sky and the Lord of Time and Space. Let's go. After the three met, there was no ink left, and they headed directly to Hongshe Mountain, Red Rock Mountain, one of the three cosmic battlefields in this star field. However, due to the advent of red clouds and fog, this Red Rock Mountain has now become the absolute focus of this star field. Even now, when it was originally wandering in the other two battlefields, most of them have now rushed towards this Red Rock Mountain. When the sword, unparalleled, the Lord of the Sky, and the Lord of Time and Space came to the surrounding area of Redstone Mountain, the vast Redstone Mountain in front of him was covered by the monstrous red cloud. The red clouds soared to the sky, and the power was shaking. It's been so long, this red cloud and fog tide hasn't even dissipated, and the range is really wide. It erupted from the core of Hongshe Mountain, and it turned out to cover the entire Redstone Mountain. Jian Wushuang revealed his surprise. Normally, the red cloud and fog tide usually appears for a year or even a few years, and it is now more than a month before the red cloud and fog tide has erupted. It is too early. We can only wait here and wait. This red cloud and mist tide has completely receded before being able to enter it. Sword warriors were slightly aware. According to Xian Shinto, this tide of red clouds and fog is extremely horrible and a huge disaster for the entire Red Rock Mountain. Although he now possesses high-level dominating combat power and has cultivated the supreme immortal mystery, the body is extremely powerful, but he still dare not break into the red cloud and fog tide directly. After all, the red cloud and fog tide is boundless and erosion ability is strong. It is terrible. Once a person is caught in it, it is likely to be eroded to death by the red cloud and mist, and the master is no exception. I have ordered to go down, the rulers of Her Majesty's stars who are eager to enter the Red Cloud realm, and the strong men of the 3 freedom alliances of the early divine realm will come here as soon as possible to meet with us, and then wait for the Red Cloud mist dispersed. They will enter the Red Cloud realm together. Sword Wushuang nodded. This time the Red Cloud realm was born. This star field was shaken, and countless strong people were eager to enter it. The strong players of the Star Palace and the 3 major free alliances are naturally no exception, but the master of these powerful rules, www.novel. Most of them are in the 3 battlefields, and they are scattered. This time the birth of the Red Cloud realm, the strong men in the other 2 battlefields have already rushed over, and the strong men who had originally roamed in the Red Rock Mountains have long retreated. Wait. Jian Wushuang said something, and then waited quietly here. As time passed, more and more powerful men rushed to the surrounding area of Red Rock Mountain. Behind the 3 of them, like Jian Wushuang, there are more and more Star Palace powerhouses gathered. 1 year after the Red Cloud and Fog Tide broke out, they gathered behind Jian Wushuang and the 3 from the rules of Xingong and the 3 major free alliances. Lord, there are already more than 70, and all of them are lords of the void and 5 realms. After all, although the Red Cloud realm is full of opportunities, but because there are many strong players entering it, the battle is extremely powerful, and the strength is relatively weak. The master of the rules below the 5 realms enters it, which is basically to die, so dare to enter the Red Cloud realm. Most of them are above the Void realm. Generally, they are the zenith of Void realm, and many reach Void realm. Chapter 37:12. Second more. Not only the Star Palace and the 3 major freedom alliances. At this moment, the top powerhouses of many forces in this star domain have almost gathered around Red Rock Mountain, like Jian Wushuang, where they are now. As the soul of Jian Wushuang swept away, they can sense thousands of tyrannical breaths. You must know that Hongshe Mountain is vast and unlimited, and every corner can smoothly enter the Red Shirshan, and finally entered the entrance of the Red Cloud realm. I am afraid that there are dozens of them. Dozens of entrances. Jian Wushuang. They have gathered thousands of people just at one of the entrances, and all of them are strong men above the Void realm. If all the entrances add up, there are too many top powerhouses gathered around Red Rock Mountain at this moment. A lot of people. Jian Wushuang also sighed. The appeal of the Red Cloud world is no small matter. Not only are the strong men who have been wandering among the 3 major battlefields on weekdays, but also many strong men who have been hidden for a long time and have never walked in the universe. Almost all came. And not only the ruler, but even the strong ones who dominated a lot of ancient existences, knowing that the Red Cloud realm is open, will certainly come over. All the strong men before and after this add up. I am afraid that there will be no less than 40 masters just coming here. The main leader of the Temple of Time and Space. Jian Wushuang was not surprised. 40 masters. This number looks scary, but in fact, there are now several masters in the early divine realm, and the early divine realm is only a 3rd-level astral world that has not evolved to its heyday. You know, there are dozens of astral fields in this astral field. Many astral fields have evolved to the heyday. In addition, many astral fields have fallen into decline, but the strong ones have survived. Even if a large part of them choose to enter the depths of the universe, there are still many who remain in this star field. If all these are added up, the number of dominating powerhouses in this star field will be quite a lot. Han Yanji was born, and it was normal for a group of 30 or 40 masters to come and run at the same time. It seems that during our trip to the Red Cloud realm, we want to get 1 or 2 of the strongest cosmic treasures from it. I'm afraid it's not that easy. Jian Wushuangdo. Of course it's not easy. The last time Tianzu was able to get one of the strongest treasures, it's all very lucky, but this time, after all, we have 3 masters, and both of you are comparable to the higher masters. Coupled with my accomplishments in space and time, as long as I can find the strongest universe is born, the grasp of the hand is still great. Jian Wushuang nodded. While Jian Wushuang was talking with the Lord of Time and Space, at this entrance, thousands of strong men gathered together, talking quietly. Is there a glance at Jian Wushuang looking at them? There is no way. Although there are many strong men at the entrance, there are only 2 strong men who dominate the level. They are all on the side of Jian Wushuang, and it is difficult to stay unnoticed. That void is all from the horoscope, right? Some, it seems not. Not all of them are from the Star Palace. Some of them are from the 3 freedom alliances of the Taiji Divine Realm, but according to the news, the 3 freedom alliances of the Taiji Divine Realm originally wore a pair of pants with the Star Royale. Inside the Lord, I know the Lord of Space and Time, but the other, it was the leader of the Heavenly Celestial Alliance, who had also been in the universe battlefield and was not famous, but it has been no longer moving around the universe battlefield for many years. It is said that some changes occurred in the early world of God. Special reasons have always remained in the early divine realm. Well, your news is out of date. Some time ago, a friend of mine came to visit me. He is a lone, strong man from the early gods. He told me that a great change happened in the early gods. The 3 sacred realms of the original overlord have been completely destroyed, and now the world is said to have been an iron bucket. The leaders of the divine realm in the early days are not only the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of Space and Time, and the ancestors, but also a strong man named Jian Tianho. 3 sanctuaries have been destroyed. No wonder. The Holy Island seems to have been destroyed by the Star Palace. Jian Tianho? Who is that Jian Tianho? Is he also the master? Many powerful secretly communicated, and the red-haired old man, who knew a little bit about the situation of the gods in the early days, laughed. You may not know the name of Jian Tianho, but the master of the famous blood sword. You must know? The Lord of the blood sword. Many of the strong men present were stunned, and all eyes subconsciously looked at Jian Wushuang, who was standing between the Lord of Time and Space and the Lord of the Heavens, and immediately agitated his throat. Indeed, Jian Tianho did not know them, but the Lord of the blood swords, they are like thunder. It was the one who had once defeated the 5 greatest realms of the 6 strongest with his own strength. In this star field, he was called the strongest person in the Lord of Rules. That sword is the Lord of the blood sword. I heard that he now has the power to dominate. The red-haired old man laughed. Domination level? Everyone was taken aback. How is that possible? He has the power to dominate it. Looking at the breath, he is clearly just a ruler. He has not reached the master. It's hard to say that he has had big encounters before, and when he defeated the extreme of the 5 major and 6 realms, his strength is infinitely close to the master. Now it has passed nearly 10,000 years. Maybe there is a breakthrough, and he really has the master. How strong is it? Everyone was talking, but there is no doubt that they are full of awe both to Jian Wushuang and to the Lord of the Heavens and the Lord of Time and Space, the power of the dominating class. The ruler of these rules must be unforgettable and sword unparalleled. Whether or not he really possesses the dominance level of combat power, he alone has already defeated the 5 greatest realms of the 6 realms, which is considered to be the strongest among the masters of this astral rule, which is enough for the master of these rules. They shuddered. When the red clouds and mists dissipate after they enter the red cloud realm, if these people encounter Jian Wushuang, they will certainly hide away. At this time, there was a void in the surroundings. The space shook slightly, and the white robe figure slowly stepped out. As soon as this man appeared, a breath of Xeon swept away. Master, master again? Are the masters coming again? Thousands of strong men at the entrance sensed the breath and immediately looked at it. Even the sword, unparalleled, the Lord of the sky, and the Lord of time and space also cast their eyes on the people. But when they could clearly see the appearance of the people, Jian Wushuang's mouth was tilted, revealing a playful smile. It's him. Chapter 37:13. The first is more. Dominated by Wu Qing. The rulers at this entrance were shocked to see the figure of the white robe. Dominated by Wu Qing, he has a good reputation among the 3 battlefields. After Wu Qing's master came to the entrance, he immediately noticed the existence of the Star Palace and the 3 major free alliances, and at the same time he noticed the smile of Jian Wushuang. That look made Wu Qing dominate his heart tremble, but immediately he lowered his body and gave a slight gift in the direction of Jian Wushuang across the void. It's pretty fun. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. This Wu Qing master, it seems that after the last time, you have been afraid of Xiaoho Xiaoyu. The master of time and space also laughed. Wu Qing dominates. Everyone else thinks he is just a solitary master, but only Jian Wushuang knows that this Wu Qing master is actually only a clone of the Holy Lord of the place. At the time, Jian Wushuang directly entered the Earth Star for the Bingxin glazed jade, and the star of the land star bowed down honestly, and finally revealed his own secrets and discs. That secret is this Wu Qing master. Jian Wushuang knew the true identity of the Wu Qing master, but the rule masters at the entrance did not know, let alone the thing between Wu Qing master and Jian Wushuang. So when they saw the move of Wu Qing's master, they were astonished by the rulers. This Wu Qing master, what are you doing? He is saluting. Is he saluting to the Lord of the heavens or to the Lord of time and space? It should be the Lord of the Cut Heaven Alliance. I heard that the Lord of the Cut Heaven Alliance is a higher master, and the strength should be stronger than the master of Wu Qing. Although the masters of these rules said so, there was still a hint of doubt in their hearts, because under normal circumstances, even if the leader of the Confederate Alliance is a higher master, the strength is stronger than the master of Wu Qing. The master of Wu Qing does not need to salute directly, at least a little polite 3 points. But Wu Qing's move to dominate now is obviously with a trace of awe. Anyway, he is also a real master. Is it necessary to fear such a high master? The masters of these rules do not know. Lord Wu Qing is not afraid of beating the Lord of the Sky, and even less afraid of the Lord of Time and Space. What he really fears is the sword unparalleled. It's just that Jian Wushuang is still the master of the rules and hasn't shown any real combat power to the outside world. So people around don't know this. Time continues to flow. 3 months passed in a flash. In the vast red rock mountain ahead, the ruby that filled the sky suddenly burst out, followed by a large expanse of red clouds, and began to shrink toward the depths of the red rock mountain. This scene brightened the eyes of many powerful men at the entrance. The red clouds and mists are about to disappear, finally disappearing. As soon as the red cloud fog tide disappears, we can enter the red cloud world. And I can't wait any longer. Many powerful people are looking forward to it. Jian Wushuang, Lord of the Heavens, Lord of Space and Time, and others also gazed at the changes in the red rock mountain. When they saw that the red cloud began to shrink and they had narrowed out of their sight in the blink of an eye, they set off directly. Go! The leader of the beast of the sky is the first, Jian Wushuang. The Lord of Time and Space, the Star Palace, and the rulers of the 3 major free alliances followed behind, and a large group of people swept directly towards Hongshe Mountain. Not only them, but the more than 1,500 rulers gathered at the entrance, like a wasp, swarmed towards Red Rock Mountain. Red Rock Mountain is completely lively. The entrance of the Red Cloud Realm is just below the red land of the Red Rock Mountain, but the ground of the Red Rock Mountain is completely covered by red clouds on weekdays. At the deepest point of the Red Rock Mountain, the entrance of the Red Cloud Realm will be seen again. Oh, the entrance is just below. Jian Wushuang and others have come to Hongshe Mountain. It was not long before they entered Hongshe Mountain. What they saw was the endless abyss. Under the abyss, there was a layer of red mist. According to the Lord of Time and Space, the layer, the red mist, is the entrance to the Red Cloud Realm. How big is this entrance? Jian Wushuang asked subconsciously. It's very large, covering almost the entire land of the Red Rock Mountain. So now, no matter what direction the practitioners who enter this Red Rock Mountain, after entering the Red Rock Mountain, you can see this abyss, and naturally you can see the entrance below the abyss. The main Hall of Time and Space Palace said, "Dear people, it is not too late. We are now entering the Red Cloud Realm." It is good. The crowd nodded in unison, and then their bodies rushed towards the bottom of the abyss. After just a moment of effort, they came to the top of the red mist. The Lord of Time and Space drank aloud, and everyone passed through the red mist into the realm of red clouds. In the red cloud world, the sky is flooded with red clouds, which dye the entire sky red. On the same red earth, there are no living creatures. There are endless red earth everywhere. Occasionally, you can see bare red mountains or boulder. The light flickered, and Jian Wushuang's figure had appeared in a void in the Red Cloud Realm. Upon appearing, Jian Wushuang immediately released the power of the soul, covering the surrounding sky. The void in the Red Cloud Realm seems to be much more stable than the three major battlefields. Even if I release the power of the soul with all my strength, I can only cover 100,000 miles. Jian Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. The tens of thousands of miles seem to be very large, but in fact, if Jian Wushuang was in the early world of God, the power of the soul covered millions of miles, and tens of millions of miles would be very easy. Of course, in the cosmic void, the restrictions will be greater, but not too outrageous. In the three universe battlefields, his soul power can only cover a range of 1 million miles in this red cloud world. It can only cover only 100,000 miles, which is already a big limitation. Already, within our 100,000-mile radius, there are a total of 8 rulers who can belong to the Star Palace or the 3 major free alliances. None of them. Jian Wu's eyes sank slightly. Before entering the Red Cloud Realm, he heard the Lord of Space and Time said that even though they were entering the Red Cloud Realm together, as long as they passed through the entrance of the Red Cloud Realm, they would be scattered to different corners of the Red Cloud Realm. So now there is no strong person in his own camp. Fortunately, although they are scattered, there is no restriction on the communication in this Red Cloud world. Jian Wushuang flipped his hands and took out the communication order. Cut the sky, time and space. Sword warriors summoned the Lord of the Heavens and the Lord of Time and Space for the first time. Chapter 37:14. Hey, the second is here. Do 2 people know where they are? Jian Wushuang asked. I should be on the 4th continent. I'm on the 6th continent. Jian Tianho, how about you? Asked the leader of the Celestial Alliance. The place I was teleported to was just a wasteland, and there was nothing recognizable within 100,000 miles. So I don't know which continent I am in for the time being. Jian Wushuangdo, Hangyanji is the first heaven with 7 continents. Except for the 7th continent, which is in the most central position, the other 6 continents are scattered around and next to each other. Before entering the Red Cloud Realm, Jian Wushuang obtained a pair of star maps of the 7 continents in the Red Cloud Realm. The star map has many marked places on each continent. These places include mountains, bloodstone piles, and some wasteland, buildings, and even some battlefields. These things are very recognizable, but now in the wasteland where Jian Wushuang is located, there are no such iconic things within 100,000 miles. Tian Ho Xiaoyu, find out which continent you are in as soon as possible. Jian Wushuang nodded. Suddenly, a breath of breath came from the void not far away, and there was a little vibration in the world. This is it. Jian Wushuang could not help but move. What's wrong? It seems that I have good luck. As soon as I arrived in the Red Cloud realm, I encountered the birth of Supreme, and looking at the atmosphere of that treasure, the level is not low. Jian Wushuang smiled. That being the case, then you have to fight for it and get as many treasures as possible. Of course. Jian Wushuang smiled, and there was a flash of excitement in his eyes. Look at the breath. The place where the treasure was born is about 500,000 miles away from me. At 500,000 miles, at my speed, it will be here in a few moments. Even if it sends out the fastest speed, rushed towards the place where the treasure was born. Sun quickly arrived at the place where the treasure was born. I saw a dark golden stick suspended in the void, and the surrounding was surrounded by a layer of dark golden light. The exquisite scent emanated from this stick. Top universe arcana. Jian Wushuang could not help but smile. When he came to this void, the dark golden baguette was born completely. For a while. Grab the treasure. It's mine. It is closer to the birthplace of this treasure, and came to this void earlier than Jian Wushuang. There are 17 rulers in total, including 7 peaks of the Void Realm and 10 rulers of the Void Realm. As many as there is a strong person who reached the peak of the 6 realms. After the dark golden stick was completely born, the 17 rulers burst out at the same time. The scramble began instantly. Boom, 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 boom. He heard only a loud roar. At this moment, the masters of these rules have burst out their strongest strength, and they also rushed directly to fight with the magic soldiers, and some used the treasures in the surrounding area, or some mysterious methods to help their strong ones compete. And Zhan Shu was quietly approaching the stick. I can reach the level of the 5 realms of the void, or the 6 realms of the void. The masters of these rules are not weak, and the means are not extraordinary. At this moment, for the supremacy of the treasure, it is the best display of its own strength means. However, among the 17 rulers present, the most dazzling is the peak of the 6 realms. He is the strongest, and he is also very good in body protection. He directly relies on his arrogant strength and body protection ability. At the forefront, he easily repelled the 2 6-state superiors who were competing with him beside him. In the blink of an eye, he had already come to the dark gold stick, less than 100 meters away from the dark gold stick. Ha ha! This top universe treasure is mine. The savage man, like a wild man, laughed. Suddenly, a ghostly figure did not know when it actually appeared in the void in front of it, just beside the dark golden stick. As soon as this figure appeared, he waved his hand directly and included the dark golden baguette into the ring of Qianquan. This scene made the savage, rough man's face suddenly blink. Dare to grab my treasure and find death. This savage, rough man was burning with rage in his eyes. He didn't take a closer look at the other person. Only saw that the other person took the dark golden stick into the ring and then immediately shot. A big axe waved like lightning out. The axe was surrounded by layers of flames, burning the void frantically, and appeared in front of the other person in a blink of an eye. Wu Jian's eyes were cold. Huh! A sword in tension gathered in front of him instantly. This sword seems to be faint, but it can be plucked out and hit your big axe, but it is instantly knocked out of the big axe, and the sword is unabated. And from the wild man's neck passing by, the savage man with his eyes widened. He didn't really see the other person's appearance until he was dying. At the same time, he also understands why he is the most powerful of the 6 realms and has no chance to struggle, and is instantly killed by the other party. Is it him? The savage, rude man was full of unwillingness and fear, but his voice was completely cut off. In the midst of the surrounding void, the other 16 masters who wanted to compete for the dark golden baguette saw this scene, and their faces changed dramatically. They didn't recognize Jian Wushuang at the beginning, but after the savage, rude man died, they recognized it immediately. It's Jian Ho, master of the blood sword. Go, hurry up. The 16 rulers present. No one had any hesitation. They no longer had a little greed for that dark golden baguette, and immediately turned their bodies and minds and left here at the fastest speed. No one dares to stop at half a step, let alone fight. Jokingly, where is the strongest blood sword lord of the star rulers' recognized rule? Where else can they compete? Even if all of them joined forces, the lord of the blood sword was afraid to slaughter them easily. But in a blink of an eye, the rulers of the surroundings walked away cleanly, and this battle naturally ended. A top universe treasure. So easy you got it? Jian Wushuang was standing there with both hands in charge, with a weird smile on the corner of his mouth. He didn't know that there were too many universe treasures in this red cloud world. If you are in the 3 battlefields, even at the deepest, it usually takes the school time to meet a higher level Arcana-born, but in the red cloud realm, the high-level, top-level universe Arcana, countless, with his combat power, it is certainly not easy to get a top universe treasure. Chapter 37:15. The first is here. As soon as I arrived in the red cloud realm, I got a top universe treasure, and it was extremely easy, which made Jian Wushuang look forward to this red cloud realm. With the successive birth of one piece of treasure, this feast in the red cloud realm has really begun. In a flash, 20 years have passed. Zhan Tian, congratulations, you have got a high treasure armor. Jian Wushuang and the Zhetian Alliance Lord, the Space and Time Lord rumors and exchanges with each other. Ha, I'm also lucky. The place where the Arcana Warframe was born this time is less than 300,000 miles away, and one of my masters is around, and I easily got it. Your luck has been good for a full 20 years. Over the past 2 decades, I and Tian Ho Xiaoyu combined to get the treasure. I'm afraid there aren't as many as you. The Master of Space and Time said the same. Where, although I have received many treasures in these 20 years, there are 8 of them, but they are all low and high. Most of them are top treasures, only one. What else do you want? In the past 20 years, I haven't gotten one of the top treasures. Even the higher one has only got 2 plus a family of elementary treasures. Better than me, at least I got a top treasure. Okay. Jian Wushuang just smiled. There are so many treasures in the red cloud realm. More scary. In this short period of 20 years, there are countless treasures born in the red cloud realm. Naturally, these treasures have also been obtained by the surrounding practitioners. As for how much you get, it depends on your strength and luck. Among them, luck is very important. Like the sword, unparalleled. In the past 20 years, he also got a top universe treasure at first. Then he successively got a sword high universe treasure and 2 elementary treasures. In the short period of 20 years, the Heavenly Alliance's main luck has gained 8 pieces of the universe, including the top one. Don't worry, the Red Cloud Realm will open for a full 10,000 years. In this 10,000-year period, although there will be more precious treasures born at the beginning, there will be more precious treasures born in the future. Based on our 3 strengths, if after 10,000 years of running, I am afraid that there will be no small gains. This is also true. It's been 10,000 years, and it's only 20 years now. It's too early. The master of space and time laughed. And in the past 20 years, there is not one strongest universe in the Red Cloud realm. It seems that even the highest peak treasure was born with two treasures. The three of them rushed around in the Red Cloud realm, while the Xian Shinto people sat in the Shingon Palace and had been gathering information for them. In these 20 years, about how many arcanas have been born in the Red Cloud realm, and how many top arcanas and peak arcanas have been born, Xian Shinto will immediately inform them of the news. That's why they know that in the past 20 years, only two peaks of Red Cloud realm have been born. Earth treasures born in the Red Cloud realm have always been low in the beginning, but there are many. But later, the number of birth treasures will be greatly reduced, but the quality will be improved. In the future, the treasures often born, at least they are all above the high level, and rarely will there be elementary to the treasure. Whether it's the first or the highest one, as long as we are in front of us, or if we have a chance to get it, then do NT let it go. Although these three are not useful to the three of us, they are the masters of those rules. In terms of use, it's very useful. In addition, if the number of treasures we get is really large, we can also take these treasures to Jodi Pavilion, and we can also exchange some high-level treasures. 9 Emperor Pavilion. Jian Wushuang looked but moved. What is this 9 Emperor Pavilion? Don't you know? The Lord of the Cut, Heavens, was surprised. Sword Wushuang shook his head. Ha! Tian Ho Xiaoyu has not been in the universe battlefield for a long time. In addition, there is rarely a chance to contact Jade Pavilion on weekdays, so I did not tell him to Xian God. That's it. The leader of the Celestial Alliance became clear, followed by Su. Jodi Pavilion is an extremely ancient and powerful force. It is said that the nest of Jodi Pavilion is the deepest in the universe, and it is also a hegemon of a party. Power is spread all over the corner of the universe. The star field like ours is actually only in the corner of the universe, but even so, there is still a Jodi Pavilion in this star field. The 9 imperial courts do not fight for hegemony, do not participate in the struggle of all parties in our star domain, and are not even interested in the 3 great battlefields of our star domain, the endless opportunities there. They only do business. The leader laughed. Do business? Jian Wushuang stunned. Yes, Jodi Pavilion is in fact plain. It is equivalent to a large trading place. If you have a powerful treasure or special treasure in your hands, if you do need it, you can put it in Jodi Pavilion and entrust it, sell or exchange for you. Similarly, you can go to the Jodi Pavilion and use your own things to exchange for the treasures in the Jojian Pavilion. Like if we have enough treasures in the Red Cloud realm this time, we can also go to Jodi Pavilion and use these treasures in exchange for higher-level treasures, such as dozens of top treasures you can in exchange for a pinnacle of treasure. Is that so? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and asked him, is there any treasure in the 9 Emperor Pavilion? Well, it's not. The leader of Zhetian League shook his head. If it is the Jade Pavilion in the deepest part of the universe, there must be everything, but the Jade Pavilion in our star field is not guaranteed. However, it is certain that there is the strongest treasure in the 9 Emperors Pavilion, and there are not only 1 or 2, but there are many, and only if you can pay a large enough price you can go inside for the strongest universe treasure. Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. Tian Ho Xiaoyu, you actually want to ask, is there ice-glazed jade in the pavilion of the 9 Emperors? Suddenly the Lord of Time and Space asked. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. He just knew about the existence of the Jojian Pavilion, and according to the Confederate Lord of Heaven, since the Jojian Pavilion is so good, there may be Bingxin glazed jade inside. Tian Ho Xiaoyu, I can tell you that this Bingxin glass jade does not exist in the Jade Emperor's Pavilion. The master of the Space-Time Palace said positively, because I knew before that you needed the Bingxin glass jade. Xian Shen asked someone to go to the Jade Emperor's Pavilion. Asked, Remember the first domain name in this book. Jiuqian God Emperor Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 3716. Second more. What happened? Jian Wushuanglian asked. The answer given before by Jyoti Pavilion is that there is no Bingxin glazed jade in this star domain. However, as long as they give them 3 pieces of peak to treasure armor, they can get a piece of Bingxin glazed jade from other territories, but they need to. It's going to take a little longer. How long? Jian Wushuang asked. Don't dare to guarantee it, but say it will be within 500,000 years. 500,000 years. The sword did not change color. He didn't care about the 3 peak treasures. Earlier in the early world of the gods, he killed the 3 masters of Demon Star. From those 3 masters, he received 4 pieces of peak and treasure armor, even the strongest treasure, and the 3 masters. He also got 3, although they were all attacking. It can be said that his family is still very rich now, not to mention the 3 top treasures. Even if it is the 3 strongest treasures, he can handle it. But the key is that it takes too long for Jiujian Pavilion to get one from other territories. Within 500,000 years, although it is within, but it is certain that the time is not short, and it will take 300,000 to 400,000 years to say less, which is still too long for Jian Wushuang. Call. Exhaling lightly, Jian Wushuang's expression gradually returned to calm. Although the time is longer, at least it is away. After I leave the Red Cloud realm, I will go to the Jyoti Pavilion in person. Jian Wushuang secretly said. At this time? Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly moved, and he turned over and took out a sign. This sign is one of the 3 major free alliances, and the ruler of the Tianzu dojo. Xingong and the 3 major free alliances can be said to belong to the same camp. This time when they came to the Red Cloud world, the Xingong and the strong men under the 3 major free alliances exchanged orders with each other. Xingong and the 3 great freedom alliances who entered the Red Cloud realm also have sword warriors. They can directly communicate with sword warriors. At this moment, it was the ruler who summoned him directly. Master Jiantianho, I am the Lord of the Ice Dust of Tianzu Dojo. I am now on the 3rd continent, and in the void where I am now, there is a pinnacle of the highest treasure. The anxious voice of the Lord of Ice Dust came. Peak warrior armor. Jian Wushuang looked. 20 years after he entered the Red Cloud realm, he has also figured out his current position, which is on the 3rd continent. After finding out his position, he accounted for all the strong men in the 3rd continent that belonged to the Star Palace and the 3 major free alliances. If he found that the top and the highest treasures were born, he would immediately call him and tell him that he would rush over as quickly as possible. Now, in the void where the Lord of the Ice Dust is, a pinnacle of the treasure armor is born. In the past 2 decades, the Red Cloud realm has only produced 2 pinnacle treasures, and they are only attacking the magic soldiers. Now, finally, the pinnacle treasure plate is born, and it is just on my 3rd continent. Wushuang smiled. Tell me where you are now, and I'll rush here. Jian Wushuang commanded. The Lord of the Ice Dust immediately told Jian Wushuang where he was. After Jian Wushuang compared the star map, he immediately determined the distance between himself and the Lord of Ice and Dust. Good guy, there are about 16 million miles in the middle. It's no wonder that I haven't sensed the breath of the peak and treasure armor. Jian Wushuang secretly said. The birth of Jibao is usually accompanied by a lot of movement, especially the breath of Zabeo's birth, which spreads very widely. At the peak of the treasure, the movement is greater, but the movement is still less than 16 million miles away. The top-level treasure is born longer than the average high-end top-level treasure. It is 16 million miles away, and it takes me a while to reach it at my speed. I hope I can make it. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate and immediately set off. The Lord of the Heavens and the Lord of Time and Space also knew that Jian Wushuang was rushing to the place where the supreme treasure was born, and they all whispered, "Heavenly friend, good luck." At a distance of 16 million miles, if the teleportation or time and space can be performed, the sword is unparalleled. Unfortunately, in the Red Cloud realm, a method similar to teleportation cannot be used at all. Jian Wushuang can only move at his own speed, and it took some time to get there. When the sword Unparalleled arrived, the Pinnacle Arcana Warframe had been completely born, and the competition had already begun. The Pinnacle Arcana Warframe had now fallen into the hands of a ruler named Sihong. The Merciful Lord is a superpower who is the ultimate in the 6 realms of void. However, although the peak jewel armor has fallen into his hands, many powerful men around him have no intention of letting go of the Merciful Master. For the ruler, the top universe is enough for them to compete madly, and the pinnacle of the universe is the highest. Just attack the magic soldier, a pinnacle of the highest treasure. Even the dominant power will be extremely envious, not to mention the ruler. Because of this, I know that the Merciful Lord is not easy to mess with, but the rulers around them are still madly rushing up and want to kill the Merciful Lord. The master of Sihong, although strong, did not escape very well. Facing the siege of a large number of powerful men around him, he could not break out immediately, which gave Jian Wushuang the opportunity to participate in the competition. When Jian Wushuang appeared on this battlefield, the ruler of these rules completely slaughtered together, and the Merciful Master had long been jealous. In a short siege, he used his mighty strength to slay the 3 rule masters, but his own divine power was also consumed a lot. "Stop it," Jian Wushuang spoke indifferently, and his figure also appeared directly in the center of the battlefield. At the same time, a horrible divine power directly covered and oppressed the audience. This mighty power, although Jian Wushuang did not do his best, but still exceeded the rule of the rule of the rule. Suddenly the master of many rules on the field was a shock in their hearts, their body, and their movement stopped. Came down. "The Lord of Mercy, hand over that peak arcana warframe. I won't embarrass you." Jian Wushuang was carrying his hands and stared calmly at the Merciful Lord in front of him. Remember the first domain name in this book. Jiuqian God Emperor Mobile Version, reading URL, Chapter 3717. The first is here. Blood, Lord of the Blood Sword. The Merciful Lord looked at Jian Wushuang, who appeared in front of him, and his face was immediately ugly. In terms of strength, he is indeed very strong. Even among the most powerful of the rulers, he is barely qualified to be in the top 10. It can be said that with such strength among the rule masters, he can almost walk sideways. However, there are still 2 people in the Lord of the Rules, which is enough to scare him. These 2 people, one is the Blood Tootie, the other is the Lord of the Blood Sword in front of him. Among them, Blood Tootie, which was known for a long time ago, has been acquiesced by many people as the strongest of the rulers of this star domain, and his strength is very close to dominating. As for Jian Wushuang, although his rise was not as long as that of Blood Tootie, his record was even more scary than that of Blood Tootie. That was the one who defeated 5 of the 6 realm extremes and killed one of them. In the first battle, he directly replaced the Blood Slayer, and was directly the strongest of the masters of this star domain rule. These 2 people are far superior to him in terms of strength. If it is normal, if he meets the Lord of the Blood Sword, he will definitely choose to retreat without hesitation. But now he can't retreat at all. If you do not surrender the piece of peak treasure you got before, the Lord of the Blood Sword and the rulers of the surroundings will never let him go. But the pinnacle of treasure, he was reluctant to give up. Joke. even the top-level treasures that even the dominant powers will frantically compete for. How could he just give up as simple as that? Even if you are the Lord of the Blood Sword, even if you are more powerful than me, the treasure battle gear has fallen into my hands. If you want, then you have to see if you have this ability. The merciful Lord issued a roar. He rolled up the waves. He didn't choose to slam the sword invincible, but rushed to the side of the void for the first time. But right at the moment he left, a faint sword light caught up directly and sank into his body. The main body of Ci Hong was shocked, and a look of terror appeared in her eyes. His divine power was instantly annihilated by more than 90%, and his breath became extremely weak. The Lord of Mercy, hand over that precious treasure armor. Otherwise, I won't keep my hand next time. Jian Wushuang's indifferent voice sounded again. The merciful Lord turned his head extremely stiffly. He looked at Jian Wushuang, and his eyes were full of unwillingness and incredibleness. Unwilling, naturally, is unwilling to reach the pinnacle of the treasure, so hand it over in vain. It's unbelievable because of the strength revealed by Jian Wushuang. Too strong. Only a slight end of Jianguang entered his body and instantly wiped out his 90% divine power, which is still the case where swordsman has reserved his hand. If he didn't keep his hand, he just killed the little wisps of sword light just now. How is that possible? How could the strength of the blood sword master be so strong? The Lord of the Red Sword was completely frightened by the strength of the sword, unparalleled. Although Jian Wushuang now has the dominance of the master, and even the higher master, few people outside know it. Most people's understanding of the sword unparalleled still stays at the time when he alone defeated the 5-6 realm extremes in the Magic Smoke Valley. At that time, Jian Wushuang was the invincible combat power of the ruler. Although this kind of combat power, the Lord of the Red, knows that the enemy cannot be defeated, but can confidently entangle himself for a while and even have a chance to escape from the swordless hands. But I did not think that Jian Wushuang's real strength was much stronger than that time. Master, the Lord of the Blood Sword, definitely has the mastery level of combat power. He is enough to kill me with his hands raised. Why, are you still not willing to hand it over? Jian Wushuang frowned. He has already given the host of the benevolent host. If the latter does not know each other again, it is really no wonder that he is. The Lord of the Blood Sword, you won. The Lord of Mercy, Red, smiled bitterly. In the face of absolute strength, he has nothing to insist on. And if he persists, it is pure death. Breathing lightly, the Lord of Mercy was ready to take out the peak and treasure armor and hand it to Jian Wushuang. The rulers of the surroundings just looked at this scene, but no one came forward to stop it. Although they were full of longing for the peak and treasure armor, no one dared to things from the sword without hands. But just then, a figure suddenly appeared in the void next to it. As soon as this person appeared, a breath of Xian, far above the Lord of many rules present, had already spread. Perceiving this breath, many of the strong men present were shocked. Dominate! A master is here. When even there was a look at that figure, the action of the merciful Lord also stopped, and his gaze looked over there. I saw a middle-aged man wearing a white robe, hovering there calmly, looking at the scene in front of the void, and frowning slightly. Master of Wuqing, dominated by Wuqing, the Lord of the surrounding rules, has been recognized in the future. It turned out that Wuqing was the master, and he was also in the third continent. Jian Wushuang's mouth evoked a playful smile. The Wuqing master had met him at the entrance of Hangyanji before. At that time, the Wuqing master still had a trace of awe to him. Later, after entering the Red Cloud realm, Everyone was scattered, and the Wu Qing master came to the third continent just like Jian Wushuang, and now the two still met. Jian Wushuang did not care about the arrival of Wu Qing's dominance, but the rulers around him became strange at this moment. For the masters of these rules, when Jian Wushuang appeared in this void, it meant that the peak and treasure armor had nothing to do with them, especially the Jian Wushuang showing its horrible power, which made Si Hong instantly. The main damage of the master is to make the masters of the surrounding rules have no heart to fight. Even the merciful Lord himself planned to surrender that peak to the treasure armor to sword unparalleled. But at this time, there was a strong man who dominated the scene, which was a bit interesting. You have to know that the pinnacle of the treasure is still in the hands of the merciful Lord. The benevolent Lord was also at a loss at this moment, a little at a loss. He took the pinnacle treasure battle gear, looked at Jian Wushuang, and looked at the master Wu Qing next to him. For a moment, he didn't know who to give the pinnacle treasure warframe to. Give it to Jian Wushuang. What will happen to the next master? And if it was entrusted to the Lord of the blood sword near him would be angry and instantly kill him. To whom is chapter 37:17 given? Page 1/1, bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 37:18, second more. The Lord of Mercy is really at a loss now, and it's not clear to whom to send the pinnacle treasure armor. At this time, Jian Wushuang spoke first. Master of Wu Qing, can you come here now to rob me of this pinnacle of treasure? Peak warrior, peak. Wu Qing's dominated pupils shrank secretly, but immediately opened up. He chuckled. The Lord of the blood sword misunderstood. I only noticed the movement of this void before deliberately coming over since the Lord of the blood swords arrived here first, and that peak and treasure armor will soon fall into your hands, the Lord of the blood swords. I naturally have nothing to fight for. After all, everything has to come first. Oh, Jian Wushuang frowned. The rulers around them looked even stranger. In this red cloud world, the competition for the treasure is also about first come, first come. Just kidding. Since the contention has already come to fruition, I will leave first. The master of Wu Qing ignored the doubts of the surrounding people and turned and left. Soon, the master of Wu Qing disappeared in front of everyone. This scene is even more shocking to those rulers present. Why, Wu Qing dominated, and just left like this. I didn't even have the idea of scrambling, so I just left. When this Wu Qing master, when did he become so good at speaking? Is it the Star Palace behind the master of Wu Qing who avoids the blood sword? It is not right. Although the Star Palace is also a big force, it is not as strong as no one dares to provoke, like the Beihai Palace. Don't worry about the Star Palace. Still, the master of Wu Qing knows that the master of the blood sword is good, and he can't help each other, so he can only leave, but the peak and treasure armor is not yet in the hands of the master of the blood sword. Those rulers around clearly did not understand the actions of Wu Qing's master. They also don't understand why the Wu Qing master left without thinking of fighting. You know, that is a pinnacle of the top treasure, but it is enough to make many dominate the eyes and furiously fight for it. And the only one on the field who was not too surprised by the departure of Wu Qing was Jian Wushuang himself. Oh, it's pretty familiar. Jian Wushuang smiled secretly. He knew why the host of Wu Qing was leaving, apparently because the latter was unwilling to compete with himself for a pinnacle of treasure, a mere piece of the highest arcana warframe, and not the strongest arcana. I cannot afford to provoke the Lord of the blood sword for such a treasure. Otherwise, whether we can compete for it, the key is to use the blood sword. If the Lord offends me, not only will my secret be revealed, but the Lord of the blood sword can be combined with the Lord of the sect to kill me, even my deity. Once they're spotted, I can't escape. Wu Qing's idea is clear. if it is one of the strongest treasures that he needs or the strongest treasure that really makes him feel good, then he is likely to truly fight with the sword. Otherwise, he would never dare to provoke Jian Wushuang. As soon as Wu Qing dominated, there was no suspense for this contention. The ruthless lord honestly handed that pinnacle treasure armor to Jian Wushuang, and after searching, he found that this piece of treasure warrior was indeed the pinnacle treasure level. But on the rank, talked to himself the blood demon cave Tianjia is still worse than that. He would definitely not use this treasure, but in the future, he can go to Jiodi Pavilion to exchange for other treasures. But it is still possible. In 20 years, I can get a peak battle treasure, which is already a great gain. Next, the scramble for the treasures in the Red Cloud realm continues. A flash, 50 years later. In these 50 years, the peak of the Red Cloud realm has reached 12. Most of them are attacking the arcana. Only one of the peak arcana armor is obtained by the sword. The pinnacle of the more precious soul attack was obtained by a master. The vast earth, a blood red hum, a faint knife sounded. In the void ahead, a purple sword was hovering quietly there, and a breath of higher universe treasure spread from the purple sword. At the moment when the purple sword was completely born, there were more than a dozen rulers around him who had been rushing up in an instant. Suddenly, a vast force of time and space swept away like ripples. All rulers who rushed toward the purple sword were at this moment greatly restricted by the power of time and space, and their body speed was greatly weakened. Immediately under the gaze of everyone, a ghostly figure appeared beside the purple sword, and the purple sword was put into the ring of heaven with a wave of a hand. Seeing that the purple sword had been taken away by the other party, the 10 or so rulers were all frustrated after a brief anger, because they had seen the man who had taken the purple sword. It is the Lord of the Blood Sword, and the Lord of Starfield rules is considered to be the strongest existence. The purple sword fell into the hands of the Lord of the Blood Sword, and they had no chance to fight again. Suddenly, more than a dozen rulers began to disperse. Jian Wushuang himself planned to leave, but at this time a figure came to him. Jian Wushuang looked at the person who appeared in front of him. Tianchen, I've seen the Lord of the Blood Sword. The Comer said with a trace of respect. Tianchen God, are you okay? Jian Wushuang asked casually. Jian Wushuang also knows about the God of Heaven mark, and he is a strong 6-realm extreme. This strength alone is definitely not qualified to compete with himself for the supreme treasure. Yes, I have a friend who really wants to see you with the Lord of the Blood Sword. So if I want to see you, let me find a way to ask you to wait for a while here. God of God mark. Oh, someone wants to see me? Jian Wushuang looked strange. Who is your good friend? Well, when he arrives, you will know the Lord of the Blood Sword. Tianhen, God laughed. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Okay, then I will stay here for a while, but I only wait half an hour. After half an hour, if your friend is not there, then I will go. Don't worry, my friend heard that you came to this continent 10 years ago after you were on the 3rd continent. Now, it's not too far away from us. In half an hour, he arrived at most. Tianchen God said, then he'll wait. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He does NT know who the friend Tian said is, but he has absolute strength as capital, and he does NT worry that the Tianchen will calculate him. Remember the first domain name in this book. Ju Qian God, Emperor Mobile Version, reading URL. Dear, click in and give a good comment. The higher the score, the faster the update. It is said that a beautiful wife was found at the end of the new score.